Hello, ladies. How are you? Welcome, welcome. I'll let you all get in here. You made it home in time. No work tomorrow. Period. Let me make myself a drink. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Yes, happy Wednesday to you all. Thank you for coming. Just a little something to take the edge off. Um, it's been quite a week. I uh, I wish I could say we gonna have a lot of fun. I don't know if we are. I'm letting you know there will be tears. There will be tears. Um, but yeah, let's do the initial stuff. So I started with the I need to wrap it up in there. Started with the cigarette. You know, try to at least come in on a lighter note. I don't know. Is my mic on? Yeah, it's on. How are you guys doing? I'm doing okay. Let's see. Let's do the updates and whatnot, shall we? So, I started my process of figuring out like what I'm going to do for school in the fall and stuff. Um, I didn't go to school this spring because the channel got monetized and I wanted to kind of like secure um, a schedule for the channel and how I would be doing. Hey, wake up. Everything. I kind of got that going. Hey, Tori. I kind of had got that going. But then okay, yes, webcam update. So I reached out to the people. I told y'all they had sent me an email preemptively, and I tried responding to them. Didn't get a response for a couple of days. So then I went to the website to see. I love you too, girly. I love all y'all. Thank you for coming. Um, they didn't respond to the response to the email they had sent me that I posted. So I went to the website, I filled out a service ticket. They responded to that. They told me to like record what was going on with the webcam and then send it to them. So they'll be sending me a new webcam. So that's amazing. Um, all in all, I've been feeling like this past week or so, I've just been kind of sitting and trying to extract whatever my intuition is telling me about different things. A lot of things are going on. So many things are going on right now. Like there's so much happening in the world, in my life, just generally. And I was just kind of like, okay, what does this mean? What direction am I supposed to go in? Like what is hey Lorenza, what is the universe trying to tell me specifically that I need to be focusing on? And so I have to be honest, I have been feeling more and more my head kind of turning towards the notion of not doing this anymore. Now this is not, I'm not, jumping at that per se, but it's something I'm just kind of like, okay, do I not want to do it? Like, what's going on with that feeling? Is it because I don't want to do it anymore? Is it because I think it's hard? Is it because I don't feel like I'm getting enough traction? Like, what is it that's making me feel like that? And I gotta be honest, some of it is feeling like I told you, first of all, I feel like everybody that comes on here and says anything is just kind of channeling timeless wisdom. I've said that before, so it's not a thing of like, oh, people are taking my talking points and this and that and the other. But it's like I'm seeing a lot of the things that I've been talking about for years now, in the way that I've been talking about them being discussed in a different way, and a lot of it because of what's going on. You know what I mean? And I'm going to get to that. Um, so I've just been kind of playing around with it, but I think that after this week was particularly hard for me in terms of ingesting um media because of all of the stories that have been being pushed around femicide and the killing of the children, and just different things. Like today, Tori had told me about a story with a lady that had went missing, and her other children were looking for her. And long story short, one of her sons killed her and chopped her up and was trying to dispose of her in the pipes because he's a plumber or some shit like that. Like it's been challenging for me because I want to there's certain things that I speak on here, period. And these things align with some of the really, I feel, important messages that I have. And I always talk about points of reference. And so these stories to me are like points of reference to kind of illustrate what I'm saying. I don't like the idea of pushing a narrative per se. And I also try to be careful about like projecting, because ultimately my goal is to help women black women have the best possible life they can have, and like I say, make choices instead of concessions. When I'm telling these things, when I'm giving my perspective in terms of a cautious eye, or a rejection, an outright rejection of like men TM and the stuff that they do and the games that they play and all of that type of stuff, um it's not because I don't like fun. Like, it's not because I don't like fun. It's not because I don't want people to live their lives, and I don't want people to have pleasure, and I feel like I'm the arbiter of what women should be doing with themselves, with their bodies, with their time, this and that and the other. It's more so from a place of having experienced certain things, and then learning certain things after the fact about those experiences, that I recognize that I would, hey Jazzy, I'm glad you're here. That I recognize that had I known what I know now, then I wouldn't have went through. You know what I mean? And so it's seeing the conversation around this makes me feel not good. I don't want to say it makes me feel good, but it does make me feel good, because I'm like, okay, finally, I feel like the class is catching up. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've had this feeling of like being the person in class that just kind of has to sit and wait for the rest of the class to get it, kind of thing. And so now it's like, okay, the rest of the class is catching up. But it's also sad and disheartening, because I know where I'm at in the grieving process. I'm still grieving. Like, and especially this past week or so has been kind of, I've been a little bit surprised by how much more grieving I feel like I have to do. Because in a lot of ways, I just felt like, okay, it is what it is. I got it. No problem. But then all of these things coming up, and seeing the other women talking about it, and like, especially with, I felt like I was kind of getting to a place where I was feeling more better equipped to be able to navigate the landscape that I now can see and perceive and identify now. And in the interest, like I said, of living my most authentic life, and my best life, wanting to try to find better examples, of manhood and things like that, not as a must, like, oh, I must experience better manhood, I must have a man by my side type of thing, but just like, okay, now that I feel confident in what I know, I can not be as guarded and be more open to what could come in terms of good things. But I think it brings all of this going on, just brings me back to this recognition of just how fraught the landscape is with males that have yet to connect with the realities, hey London Link, of what they're capable of. And so therefore are dangerous, because if they don't believe they can hurt and harm, then there's no barrier there. You know what I mean? There's no barrier on their end anyway. And you know me, I don't dream of labor. I don't dream of labor. I don't dream, relationships can be work, but I don't dream of the type of labor where I have to be responsible for someone not hurting me, if that makes sense. And so now that we are in this space where those things happen, and then right off the back of that you have this situation going on where Meg, where nobody was physically hurt, nobody was manhandled or cursed out or anything. Well, I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. Like, this is just a, for all intents and purposes, just a breakup, right? A bad one, but a breakup nonetheless. It's not a murder. It's not an abusive situation, a physically abusive situation she had to flee from. It's just, a nigga being a nigga type of thing. But it's the responses. It's the responses to this that is where the danger and the heaviness is coming. It's bad enough. I don't, I'm very empathetic person. It's bad enough to see someone hurt. It's bad enough to see someone, especially someone you feel like is a nice person, is trying to live their life and be kind and have fun and whatever. But to see the things that are being said, I think that, mind you, it's not surprising because this happened when she was literally shot. She was literally shot, and this happened. Oh, good, Nia. Um, but now having this come on the heels of all of that stuff that was going on last week, the deaths of the women, the deaths of the children, it's so heavy. And I think I need a break. If I'm being honest, I think I need a break from social media, because my heart is just, and then, I mean, this is a little bit funny. It's not funny, but it's funny. I laugh. I've been laughing about it. I'm probably gonna laugh some more about it tonight, but it isn't. Some of you that have been in spaces with me before, I told the story before about this guy that I've dated on and off for over a decade. And our last big hurrah was a couple of years ago. I want to say 2023. And long story short, it ended with me just kind of being like, well, look, you done fucked with me. You done played on my time too much. This is how we're going to interact moving forward if you want to hang with me. And he agreed at first, but then when I was standing on business, he kind of tried to switch up, like, oh, whatever. And I just blocked him and I went on about my business. And this was years ago. And I have not talked to that man. I have seen his attempts at trying to contact me um, through social media, um, intermittently within the last couple of years. But y'all know me. Y'all know me. So today I was getting ready, get my mind ready, and going to take my bath or whatever to kind of like get my head together and everything. And I had just gotten in the tub. I washed my face and was getting settled, and I heard a knock at the door. And so I'm in the house with my grandma. I tell my grandma, like, somebody's at the door. So she goes to the door. She's like, you got something coming? I'm like, I don't think so. So she goes to the door. I hear her talking. I can't hear the person, like, to be able to hear what they're saying, but I can hear it's a male. And I hear her say, well, who are you? And I know she's having a conversation, but I can't hear the other person. I can't, whatever. So she closes the door. I'm like, who was it? She said, I don't know. Somebody looking for you. And I'm like, that doesn't help. So then she laughs and she comes back upstairs and she hands me a card. And it's the guy that, from them before. And this is how he showed up the last time. Like, he came and knocked on. It's just that I happened to be the one that was here, and answered the door. And same thing, he gave me his card and he was like, oh, please call me, whatever. Now, in and of itself, that could be just a funny one-off story or whatever like that, right? And this is what I talk about walking on the edge of madness, and having the awareness that I have and things like that. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be the harbinger of negativity. I don't want to be, what's it called? Debbie Downer. I don't want to try to put, but in light of everything that's going on, and also in light of our history and like certain things that I noticed about him as we've dated and different stuff like that, I talk about like how we as women give these men life and create this lore around men and this and that and the other. And like, my view of him has always included, my view of people generally, I think, includes the good and the bad. But like I said, was it last week or whenever it was, I tend to lean towards and lead with the good. You know what I mean? Like, if I see you and I'm taking you at face value, I may perceive some of your faults and flaws and stuff, but nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I go with what you say you want to be. And I try to remind you of who you say you want to be in how I interact with you and what I do. And I only don't deal with people when I feel like I can't reconcile those two things. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I can't help you to be, and not that it's my job, but you get what I'm saying? Like, if I feel myself starting to transform into my not so great self from dealing with you because you're not, so I think we understand each other there. So what I'm saying is, I've seen things in this guy before where I'm like, okay, I see these insecurities and I see these areas where he might be a little sensitive and I see these areas where he might be a little petty and this and that and the other, whatever. But in light of all these things that are going on, and in light of our history, and last time, like I said, I kind of left, I felt like I was leaving out on top. You know what I mean? Like, when I left that situation, it was just kind of like, okay, he played on my top a little bit. I feel like I got my retribution for him playing on my top, and I'm ready to go. In a situation like this, like I said, in light of the way that these men like to indulge in playing games and like to indulge in doling out revenge and this, and I just feel like this isn't even something that I can really just laugh at. Him coming to my house, him not leaving me alone, him. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that I feel in immediate danger, but I was literally like looking around when I was going to pick up my daughter, concerned that he might have been lurking. You know what I mean? And again, not because I feel like he wants to do anything to me right now today, but it's just like the trajectory of where it can go. I don't like that feeling, but I know that the answer is not to ignore. I know that the answer is not to try to convince myself that I'm just being crazy and that's just stuff on the internet and we're in real life and this and that and the other. You know what I'm like? The answer is not to try to lull myself into a sense of false safety. I won't say false because I don't know one way or the other, definitely, right? But the answer is not to lull myself into a not to manufacture a sense of safety in a situation where it behooves all of us to be vigilant. You know what I mean? Um and so I want to talk about what it looks like, because I got to say that as someone who's been decrying these things and saying, "Hey, you can't just laugh. You can't just laugh the shit off. You can't just ignore the ways that these men are behaving. You have to listen to what they say when they're talking about these situations. You have to really dig into the implications of their viewpoints about these things that are, online, not necessarily real life, but you need to take heed to who these people actually are, and not just who you want them to be based off of what fun and whatever else you want to have with them." Right. So I want to have a conversation about orienting ourselves in this moment of more of a collective awareness of what we're dealing with when we are engaging with these men. And then talking about what it looks like moving forward, like I said, making decisions instead of concessions, without putting on those rose colored glasses, without, trying to, like I said, make ourselves comfortable in a situation where we it's all but impossible to it's all but impossible to ignore things, because I feel like I need to harken back to conversations that were had on that other platform, where, like, specifically, I remember when Deanne was still there and Dean was up there, and the conversation had gotten around to femicide, black femicide. And I remember Dean basically saying that, like, oh, well, it's such a small percentage of women that it's not even worth talking about. Basically, that was the sentiment. And I remember FD going over there and basically saying the same thing. You know what I mean? So when I talk about, like, men being good guys, or believing themselves to be good guys, leading with the idea of them being good guys, and they're over here and the bad guys are over there. But again, you have to listen to when they're talking about these types of things. One person is too many people, right? One person is too many people. In this past week, we've had 3 or 4 instances, horrific instances of, women being taken out in diabolical fashion, children being involved, children being killed. You know what I mean? And to boot, because when they can't say, oh, well, it doesn't happen enough, then they'll go to, oh, well, it's the type of woman and the type of man that type of woman chooses. But we're looking at, well educated, pedigreed, accomplished, civic minded women out there doing all the things, being the respectable woman, being the mother, being the wife, the dutiful wife, doing all of these things. So they don't even fit the mold typically that is used to dismiss and devalue the conversation around black femicide, right? So we're in this space right now where it's like, you can't shut this conversation down. You know what I mean? You can't shut this down. You can't try to minimize it, because it's become way too real. And so I kind of want to have a conversation about, like, where we are and what that means for us moving forward in recognizing this moment, standing on that precipice of madness, recognizing this moment, recognizing what's going on, and not shying away from it. Let me look at some of y'all comments. Jazzy says, I feel like with recent news, there's a new wave of black women who are radically pro-black are realizing the black men they include in their advocacy for the community have no empathy for what we. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, y'all know, if you know me from anywhere else, not just here, I've been saying I've been saying this. And I think people were just kind of like, oh, ha ha ha. Yeah, but now it's just like, oh, you know what I mean? Daniela, yes, exactly. From this story you're telling, I don't at all like the way this dude is moving. Don't ignore it. Always protect yourself. At their hands, they're heartbroken. I used to watch a streamer who said the same thing about black femicide years ago. I started paying attention to his words and eventually stopped watching and unfollowed him. The best decision. I knew what you meant, Daniela, and welcome. So yeah, I kind of want to have a conversation about, like, okay, now that you know, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Because I felt like years ago when I was saying it, I felt like that's why honestly, yeah, let's go back down memory lane a bit. I remember being there and kind of saying it and saying, like, look, I've been sitting in the manosphere. I know what they're saying. I know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? I know y'all don't, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? And people just kind of being like, oh, but they're good to fuck. Black men are good to fuck. Type of things. And just all types of crazy shit was going on. And then me getting more and more frustrated and then kind of coming to this settled place of like, okay, everybody's a grown up. Everybody gets to do what they want to do. I get it. People want to have fun. People want to fuck. People want to have kids. People want to do other things. And I gotta say, I ain't even do the intro. I don't know if I'm gonna do the intro because I'm rolling now. I gotta say that I recognize, and I've said it before, if I didn't have children right now, I would be in a bad way. If I was of the mindset of wanting to have children at this point, it would be, I feel for the people who want to have children right now at this point in time, but are just like, I can't, because of the economy, because of who's in power, because of these things. All of it, like, it's just a bad time for anyone who wants to move towards a more hopeful, optimistic future. So I count myself as privileged and lucky that I already have my kids and they're not babies, right now, because we're in hell. Like we're in hell. It's no other way to say it. We're in hell. So I'm going to that's me kind of orienting us within this conversation. I'm gonna go ahead and do the intro, and then we'll come back. I'll walk through. I have a couple clips to share. We'll walk through and then go from there. I'll open up the panel later if anybody wants to come up. No pressure as always. But yeah. Okay. This is a mother.
No problem. You in charge of the girls, right? I am in charge of the girls. Are you in charge of the girls? I am in charge of the girls.
Okay. Hey, Princess Amani. Welcome. So let me go here. Which one is this? Now, why is these looking like this? I hate when I put stuff. Okay, we'll start here. So first off, I kind of want to talk about this. With me saying like I want to take a break, I need to take a break. I don't want that to be mistaken for me wanting to avoid the conversation or not talk about the conversation. Um, because I think it's more important than ever right now because everybody is feeling it at the same time, to kind of hopefully be able to consolidate the conversations and really be able, like I was talking about a couple months ago, really be able to come together as a collective because this affects all of us, or more of a collective, because there's always going to be some that are compromised. There's always going to be some that are more, that are willing to go la 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 la, a bit more than others. But I'm gonna go ahead and play and share this, and then we can go from there.
And on Threads threatened to report my license because I said that the current outcomes and things that have been showing up in media about the engagements romantically between Black men and Black women, not just Megan Clay, but the murders of Black women and the documentary that came out about the manosphere, etc., is just disheartening. And as a clinician who has made a living on helping people heal from poor, bad relationships to so that way they can love again, I'm starting to wonder if that is what I should be working on. And it was an honest post. And I went to bed, I woke up, and men were calling me words that I have never been called in my life. All this to say, this will be the last time that I ever address Black men on the internet. I will not do it. I have Black male clients. If you happen to find me, that's great. But it just gets to a point where it's getting too obvious that I can't even say it because I'm worried of who this will attract. But y'all won, and I hope that the future that exists when you guys have silenced everyone is worth it. I hope that it's worth it. I didn't think that things would get this bad. And I hate that for us. Black men, I love you. If you are watching this and you believe that you're seeing the cracks in the system, find a good therapist, preferably male. If you need help finding one, I'll have myself and my practice admin support you. But yeah, a man on Threads.
Okay, so when it came to her, this is, I'm sad for her. And like, because with me being so far along on my journey of just seeing it how it is, I feel bad for the women who genuinely, earnestly want to coexist with men. And I want to be clear. It's not like, oh, my dream in life is to coexist away from men, but given the circumstances, hell yeah. You know what I mean? It's like circumstantially, yeah, I would prefer not to be around. But I'm talking about the women who are just not aware of these things and maybe even haven't experienced men in a way that they have been hurt to a point where they feel like their inclination was to try to remove themselves from it. Maybe they've been through some things, maybe they've had a few heartbreaks or whatever like that, but they're still generally feeling like, oh, there are good men in the world. I just have to keep, kissing some frogs or whatever, right? I feel bad for them. But again, like I said, this is a pivotal time for us as the collective of women in this world, because the veil has been lifted. Like I said, mask off. Mask is off. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so sad. Clearly she has a heart for service. Clearly she has a heart for, men. And to be clear, I feel like the men that are safe will distinguish themselves, but not in the traditional way that they've been able to kind of skate by with, oh, well, I'm educated or I'm not a Pookie and a Ray Ray. It's going to be more about what do they say about these things that are going on and how do they act and do they check these niggas? And, like we're going to have to start really, the men are going to have to start stepping up and stepping out and distinguishing themselves in very particular ways around how all of this is handled, the conversation, the actual people, what's going on. You know what I mean? Like it's time to really redefine what a good man, good Black man is as Black women, if you want a partner. You know what I mean? Daniela says Black women globally should be paying attention and uniting collectively. We should have our own spaces to openly discuss how to stay safe and thrive in this society. Yeah, and it ain't going to be TikTok. It ain't going to be, in these panels and debates where it's more so about driving engagement and everything. Like it's really going to have to be around. I remember I was mad at my daughter about something because I was just like, you have absolutely no survival instinct whatsoever. Like it's like you don't sit down and powwow with your predator. And like I said, it's going to be up to the men to distinguish themselves in new ways that we're all still doing. I don't have all the answers, but I know you not gonna skate by with me with the same old. Because my dude right here that came and knocked on the door, I'm looking at his new business card. He had a business before. The business has expanded based off of the business. So you get what I'm saying? And whereas before that may have been something like, oh yeah, this person is a business person. You get what I'm saying? Like it's going to take more than the traditional good on paper shit to differentiate who is who in this new paradigm, is what I'm saying. Do I want to show hers? I have a mutual, and I'm going to mention her probably towards the end of this because I want to make sure that y'all walk away knowing to seek her out. I have a mutual on TikTok to seek her out because she has a framework, with a academic structure to kind of get your mind right around being in the right headspace to start navigating these things in the best way. Danielle says TikTok, YouTube, and other platforms are openly silencing and demonetizing certain platforms. Yeah, we can't have certain conversations here and saying stuff. Thank you, Wake Up. Because I always forget. What else was I saying? And I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the next thing I want to show. Okay, yeah, this one.
Black women are the only women not allowed to share their pain in public. This person cheated on me. Why would you go tell that on the internet? This person beat me. Why would you share that with people? This person mistreated me in a relationship. Why would you go tell that news to other people? You're embarrassing yourself. This person was not true to me in a romantic situation. Why would you tell your business on the internet? We are the only group of people that's not allowed to share our pain or our heartbreak. And that's what gets us. And I don't think we understand. We have real connections. We have real scientific evidence that say, hey, keeping your emotions to yourself can help you develop chronic illnesses. It can help you develop cancers. It'll quite literally create these sicknesses in your body that will kill you. But you want black women to keep that stuff to themselves. That's why y'all grandmamas and y'all mothers died of cancer and chronic illnesses that you don't even know anything about because they kept all their pain to themselves. They said, I don't want anyone to know what's going on in my house. I'm going to keep it to myself. I'm going to do this and I'm not going to tell anybody. And they suffered. And they suffered and they went through things and they weren't able to talk to anyone about it because they wanted to keep up the image of a good woman when heartbreak needs an audience. And it's the craziest thing and it's the most infuriating thing to me because we are telling women, black women, that doesn't matter how a man treats you, you need to keep that stuff to yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's embarrassing. Why would you go and tell people that you got cheated on? Are you trying to say like you're not a good enough woman? Oh, you know what? And you know what? That's when I realized nothing will ever keep people happy. Live for yourself today. Live for yourself today. And I'm so thankful that I have one in my life, aka my grandmother, telling me, hey man, if you gotta leave, leave. If you need to leave, leave. And I'll always have a man where he got me messed up at. The minute something don't sound right, I'ma leave. Because at the end of the day, like, this is not even worth it. And that's even why I felt comfortable talking about my dating experiences on this app. Because you are not going to do me so crazy and expect my discretion. You are not entitled to that. You want to be crazy, you want to act crazy, you want to do me crazy, everybody gonna know about it. So they gonna know the kind of person you are. It don't matter what people think about me. The embarrassment never lasts. The embarrassment never lasts. But you know what does last? The everlasting pride of the fact that I stood up for myself and I advocated for myself and I didn't let anyone get away with hurting me. Because that's the way we need to go about it. I am tired of black women having to keep their pain to themselves. It is terrible. Always. Listen, you know what? Air that man out today. Air that man out today. Black women are the only one.
Sorry, I was trying to find a thing for my microphone. I felt like that was important to bring in because with the lady before her saying like she was speaking out, and mind you, she was only talking about just how she felt about what was going on. She didn't project anything on anybody. She wasn't making a prescriptive. She wasn't me. She wasn't saying all these niggas scrutinize them. You know what I mean? She was just saying, hey, like this doesn't feel good. I don't like the way this feels. And she got all of that. And so I thought it's important because her instinct was to shrink. Her instinct was to close up. And I feel like, no, that's what's wanted. I know they were saying, talking about more so with like patriarchy and misogyny and all that stuff. We're experiencing what they call an extinction burst, where it seems to get worse before it, is dissolved or oh what? Let me take that down. I won't even think about that anymore. Where it gets dissolved or destroyed, whatever, it goes away, goes extinct. But I think that that's a natural urge to close up, to clam up, to shut down. But no, we need to keep talking. We need to keep fighting. And that's why I'm like, for me, please say, and when I say I want to take a break, I'm not saying I want to take a break. Okay. Okay. Have fun. She said, F stupid. Bye. Be careful. Hi, Alicia. Alicia. Okay, so sidebar. I have to address my girlfriend. Alicia has a book. She has a book out, you guys. I don't have the link to it. I don't, but somebody, if you have the link, please put the link. Alicia has a book out. It's limited edition, so don't take them all because I have to get one. But the problem is the thing that you used, I can't use my Google Pay. I have to use my card, but I accidentally left my purse at my aunt's house, so I don't have my card. Suck a fucking dick, you bitch. Sorry, not you, Alicia. I just saw somebody like I don't know who the fuck you are, but fuck you. Um, yeah. What was I saying? I have to go get my purse so I can get your book because I'm so excited and I'm so proud of you. So yeah, that's going on. I already blocked them, but if you want to, I don't know. Are you a mod? I don't know who all is mods. Where are my mods? But I already blocked them. So fuck him. Good day. Aside from that, what was I saying? Aside from that, and Alicia's wonderful book that we're gonna get. Oh yeah, we need to be speaking up. It's a chat, but yes, I'm so excited. It looks so cute. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And it's you said it's about like rage and bitterness and everything, and that's right up my alley right about now. What happened, Lorenza, is some bitch ass nigga came in here. Clay's going to upgrade, so he needed to be. Don't laugh, don't laugh, Alicia. But see, now I gotta. After you got me all upset, now I gotta have a. I need something to take the edge off, you know. There it is. There it is. Oof. All right, so long story short, we need to keep talking. We need to keep speaking out. We need to keep having conversations. We need to keep unpacking. We need to keep comparing notes. You know what I mean? And we need to start really trying to envision what life might need to be like separating. You know, like separating. And I know for me, when I was speaking earlier about like getting to a place where I felt like I could be a bit safer in my skill set of discernment, you know, and not being so stringent on certain things. Um, I recognize that like it's literally physically impossible to fully separate from men, right? Well, for some of us, if you got enough money, you can do that. Who the fuck are you? Oh my god! All right, everybody. I'm gonna put them on the summer jam screen. Everybody, prepare yourselves. Prepare ye. We're going to have an influx of bullshit tonight. That being said, you know, I promise to do my absolute best to protect the sanctity of this space and you guys' psyche. Um, if I need to, because I don't know who all are mods here, but if I need to, I don't think all of my mods are here. Anybody that wants to be modded up, let me know, and I could take a minute or two and mod some people up. All right, there we go. That's done. I already blocked this person because I was too busy trying to. That ain't no. I don't think that's a bot. Bots just spam you. He keep talking shit. He's a liar. He's a liar. But I don't think it's a bot. But that being said, everybody just prepare yourself because I'm going to talk. Yes, exactly. I was just watching something about Scar the other day too. It was about evil, evil. Shout out to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I can. She said, "Lord, they hear her." All right, we're gonna take a quick intermission. I'm gonna stay on the thing, but I'll play a little music while I try to come in and mod y'all up. Do I need to? Who is? That's not it. Do I need to do it on my phone or how can I do this? I'm gonna go on mute and I'm gonna go on mute and play a little music for y'all. All right. All right, Villainous Crone, you're up. You have been modded. There we go. Princess Amani said he's fully focused. Yeah, he's over here focused in women's business. Look, ain't nobody gonna say he had script, girl. Oh my god! But I'm just saying, this is probably gonna be one of them nights. So just buckle up, buttercups. What was I saying? It's important for us to not let shit like that deter us from speaking up, speaking out, gathering, strategizing, all of the things. Also got a note though, this is why it's important to kind of to get into other spaces. And I've told y'all before, if you want to, girl, if you listen, sidebar, please remember that. In fact, let me put this up. Hopefully y'all remember to, because I have a story for y'all. But we need to keep talking amongst each other. And I was gonna bring my Discord. I have a Discord. You know, I've been trying to, y'all don't talk to me in my Discord though. I'm gonna let y'all know my feelings is hurt. Y'all ignore me. I'll be putting things in there. And it'd be nice stuff. Like I don't put the crazy mess you up stuff in there. I'll be putting in like some fun things. So anybody that's already in there, shame on you. Shame on you for ignoring it. But also, if you're interested in coming into the Discord, just shoot me an email. Where's my email? Shoot me an email. And I might have to start vetting, you know, like vetting, figure out what I need in terms of verification for you to get in there, since we're going to be a mixed company tonight. But yeah, so if you want to try to come to my Discord so we can have a bit more privacy, that's fine. She said every time they run their credentials, I know it's a lot, girl. So I'm gonna try to pay attention more. Thank you. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. But yeah, so I'm gonna go to the next thingy. Okay, so this is, I don't remember exactly what she was talking about, but I know she was cooking.
I kind of thought that when I finally decided to share this information with the internet and give you guys this update, it would be in a much more polished video. However, the current situation with Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson has kind of presented the opportunity for me to speak about the situation from the unique perspective of somebody who is currently going through something eerily similar, and kind of say the part that I don't really hear anybody else talking about. And I want to start by saying that I feel like women in general and Black women in specific are reacting so strongly to this because unfortunately so many of us know what it feels like to be in a constant state of grieving. And we know we're about to watch Megan Thee Stallion go through yet again another grieving process. And it is so fucking unfortunate because you could have left that girl alone. And as a successful Black woman who was also dating an athlete who cheated on her, I can tell you the hardest part of this process will absolutely be grieving the life you almost had. Because I feel like as Black women, we are conditioned to believe that if we desire romantic partnership, it will come at the expense of our peace. Now, so many of us are just not buying into that BS, so we learn to find fulfillment in other areas. We find it in our education, in our careers, in our platonic relationships, in our hobbies and travel, etc. All the things that men want us to believe would keep us single forever are actually the things we have to focus on, because the idea that we will actually find fulfilling romantic partnerships seems so far away. So the sick thing about when a Klay Thompson comes into your life with the mask on is that he comes dressed as everything you thought you would never get. Everything that for a long time you were perfectly okay never finding. Now this man comes in checking off all the boxes. The big one being you're equally yoked when it comes to finances, status, those kind of things. As a successful Black woman, that is the number one thing we are told we're gonna have to compromise on. So when that box gets checked off, oh, it's off to the races. And then he's checking off all the other boxes. Is he kind? Is he funny? Is he smart? Do you love his family? Does he introduce you to new experiences? Whatever you care about, this man is coming in, checking them off. Boom, 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 boom. And there's almost a sense of relief that kind of washes over you, like, oh my God, there is somebody out there for me. It is the first time you allow yourself to exhale and accept the idea of romantic partnership. And then the mask slips and you get hit with that first wave of grief. That first wave of grief is literally grieving who you got to be in that relationship before you found out this information. It's grieving the safety you felt, the safety you almost had. It's literally grieving looking at the person the way you were able to look at them before you found out who they really were. It is one of the most jarring and painful things I've ever experienced, but it is nothing compared to the grief you feel when you're finally done. And you know that you're done because you do the thing that you can't come back from. You confront your abuser in public, which is exactly what Megan Thee Stallion did with her Instagram story post. Because make no mistake, cheating is abuse. When you confront your abuser in public, you finally allow yourself to acknowledge all the things that you've experienced. And I think only then do you really start grieving what you almost had. And I can personally say that grieving the happily ever after that was almost in my grasp, grieving the future I almost had, grieving the life that I was able to picture for myself that actually felt in reach, has been one of the heaviest grieving processes that I have ever experienced. And the thing about being a successful woman when you're going through that grieving process is that you still have to show up in whatever the thing is that you're successful in. Going through something that is literally consuming you while having to pretend like it's not is one of the most isolating experiences you will ever have. And when you finally trade the isolation for the support of your community, it is almost like the floodgates open. And I think that's what we saw when she had that moment during Moulin Rouge. I think we were witnessing her acknowledge what she had experienced and finally start grieving what she lost. And I know everybody wants you to be tough and say F that man, but I think allowing myself to grieve what I almost had has been the only thing that has actually helped me process through this. My heart truly, truly goes out to Megan Thee Stallion right now. And I know a video like this will never find her, but if it finds anybody that can relate to this situation, I want to say this. There is no get out of heartbreak free card that can save you from the possibility of having your heart broken in a relationship. But I do want you going forward to pay attention to how things feel in your body. The anxiety, the stomach flips, the sleepless nights that you feel when you're dealing with this man will tell you a whole lot more about what you're actually experiencing than the things you'll tell yourself to gaslight yourself out of those feelings to preserve the relationship. And I think that if we can provide some validity to those body feelings, we can see people for who they are a lot sooner. But if you are going through a heartbreak right now, please be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, and above all, be patient with yourself. Love you, bye.
I felt like that was so important to bring into this conversation because, like I said, when everything is said and done, when I started this platform, when I wrote my fucking book, I've said so many goddamn times, when I wrote this goddamn book, I had to go back and rewrite this book at least twice in terms of the tone, because it was coming out, you fucking stupid bitch, you need to get it together, like it was coming out and being like, you just need to get yourself together. And we've had in different spaces, conversations around how helpful that is or isn't, how hurtful that can be, how much of a turnoff it makes you just not want to listen to that person. You don't feel safe there, yada, 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 all the things. And so for me, when I was sitting and writing, this is before I got online like this, to talk anyway, I recognized that for what my intention was by writing this book, I was going to need to reshape how I was talking, because I didn't want people walking away feeling shamed. I wanted people walking away feeling hopeful. I wanted people, like I literally say the last line of the book is, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be happy. And so that's how I wanted the book to feel, like, you deserve to be happy. We're talking about these embarrassing things. We're talking about these shameful things. We're talking about this stuff that, you don't necessarily feel like you're the smartest person or the most worthy person, but you do deserve to be happy. That's the takeaway from the book. And so in trying to bring that into the platform itself and the messaging and the way that I'm speaking and everything, I had to make room for the women who aren't necessarily ready to not deal with men, period, but to still give you the fucking truth of the matter. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying, like, in this instance, I kept saying during a particular time, I could show you better than I can tell you. You know what I mean? Like, I can show you better than I can tell you, because I can sit here and tell you, and people can say, oh, you're projecting, oh, you're bitter, oh, you're this and oh, you're that. This stuff is happening. I'm not doing this stuff. I'm not making this stuff happen. This is what's happening in the world. And then you get to see in real time what I'm talking about in terms of how I view men and how they think and how they act and how they speak and what that means. And so within that is that grieve. You're going to have to grieve. And I love the fact that she spoke about grieving who you thought you could be. Who you thought you could be in that situation. Because it is painful. And I've sat up here and I took y'all through my grieving process. And I told y'all at that time, I was like, look, I feel compelled to do this, to let you witness this, because I feel like it's important to the lady before this point. It's important to have people bear witness. It's important to not hide it. It's important to not close yourself off and feel shameful about the feelings. It's important to put them out, to expel them, so that then you make that space to be able to move forward instead of carrying it. I feel so bad. I saw Megan crying. I saw her crying on stage. And I felt so bad because she's just trying to be great. She's just trying to be great, and she spread so much joy and positivity and light. And it's bad enough that this is happening. I think that's bad enough, but then to turn around and see the horrible things, there's this image going around. And I've seen that image before outside of that image. Some of you may seen it. I'm not even going to describe it. I'm definitely not going to show it. Some of you may have seen that image before, now concerning Megan, but I've seen that image before. And it had nothing to do with Megan in terms of trying to illustrate, how men view women. And I'll just say this much. They talk about how she's not yours. It's just your turn. That is the theme of the image. And so they've, edited it to depict her specifically, and just that, and it's just one thing after another, and then coming off of this past week, like I said, of these motherfuckers murdering these babies and these women, and it's just like it's all too much. Daniela says, I'm glad I saw so many women online affirming and validating Meg. Glad she got the support. And so, oh no, that's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see. And I want to believe that she's seeing all of that, but I know she's seeing this other stuff too. And like, you see, I'm a fucking mess. So like, I can only imagine how she feels. Grieving is so tough and unique. Daniela says, I'm one of those women. I live in the Caribbean, and the men here are just different kinds of horrible. I've been single for a while. I'm working on myself and my finances. Oh. Hey, Amethyst. Her pain is palpable. You've seen it. All right. I had heard about it before I saw it. I didn't know what it was. And then, people still posted it. So it just happened to come up. Yeah. And I'm saying, but guess what? That image was already out there. Like I said, it wasn't her, but that image has already been there. And that's what I've been seeing things for a long time. And I kept trying to tell y'all, like, it's really bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. Ooh. Princess Amani said, I'll be honest, no Meg slander is allowed on my screen, so I don't know what they've been saying. The sad part is I'm not getting Meg slander per se. It's people talking about it, but like, you're still sharing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I went past, and it was this person, I believe, that I don't know. And a lot of these people, especially like on TikTok and stuff, they call themselves being neutral and objective and all that other shit, and they just do and say whatever. That's what I'm saying. Like, is we gonna, those of us that are serious about trying to heal ourselves are going to have to realize that it is that serious. You can't just be sitting around people that are just casually entertaining bullshit. You can't just be sitting around people that are casually perpetuating bullshit. And you damn sure shouldn't be sitting around nobody that's saying no kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? So it's like, the wheat needs to separate itself from the chaff at this point. Like, I'm so serious. It's time for the wheat to separate itself from the fucking chaff, because it's gotten dire. Alicia said, I hate a neutral person. I mean, there's no such thing as neutrality for real. For like, there's no such thing in neutrality. And as someone who works at objectivity, I still will speak to the different perceptions that I can perceive. You get what I'm saying? So it's not about me trying to say, oh yes, I'm above it all. I feel like this, but I also can see these things. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you what I see in the macro, but I'm going to tell you how I feel. So yeah, let's see what else we got going on. Okay, and this is the last. I might show somebody else later, but this is
further evidence that we were trained for a future that does not exist. This message is for high-achieving millennial Black women who are single and child-free, but who want kids low-key. Go ahead and have your baby. Yes, you heard me right. You already followed the rules they gave us when we were girls. Go to school? Check. Get a degree? Check. Get a job? Check. It came time to do the part where you were supposed to be married before you have the baby and you couldn't quite get those checks to check. Now you're trying to figure out what you're going to do. Because you want kids, but your biological clock looking at you like, and you looking back at her like, and the man part looking like it might not come together in a timely fashion. Well, I'm doing the research so you don't have to. And the data are telling me that we were trained for a future that doesn't exist. If you feel like you're getting to the end of your biological clock, but motherhood is still a thing you want, I want to suggest to you that you could get creative about how you do it. In my late 30s, I found myself about to be single because I was facing divorce at the same exact time that my doctor told me that I needed to be trying to get pregnant before I grew more fibroids. I got divorced, and then I got creative. For me, that's platonic co-parenting with a gay married couple. One family, 2 kids, 2 households. I could have never imagined this kind of family as a younger woman who was growing up in a society that was demonizing single mothers at every turn. I decided to write about my modern family because I think it's time for us to toss those old instructions they gave us as girls about how we're supposed to live our lives and live for ourselves rather than living in fear of what other people are going to think about us. So go ahead and have your baby. Further evidence that we...
Okay, I saw that one and I was just like, because I prefer the idea of being optimistic. Sidebar, because I was thinking about this earlier. Yeah, isn't it beautiful? And I'm saying this as someone who, like I said, I've said many times, if I didn't have kids right now, I can see, because of the type of person I am, that I might have been feeling like FOMO around having kids, because I'm at that point where I might not be able to have kids, or I would need to try to hurry up and have some kids or whatever. And which is crazy. That dude at the door probably might have got me. He might have got me if I did already have kids, right? But I'm saying I love the idea of this, and specifically when she pointed out the idea of how like single motherhood is singled out and treated. But it's like, no, look, this is where we are. This is what it's come to. This is where we are. And I talk so much about making decisions instead of concessions. It's so important to me that we recognize that we can have whatever we want as long as we're willing to be creative. Like she said, as long as we're willing to try to figure out, well, what does that look like, instead of saying, oh, well, I can't have that. I can't have that. And that's another reason why I get so upset around like people just kind of being like, there's nothing I can do when we're pointing out these things, these harmful, hurtful thought processes and whatever. And it's just like, well, that's all I can't be anything else, under the guise of patriarchy, or even under the guise of just individualism. This idea that I'm not even willing to put my mind towards imagining some kind of a compromise, some kind of a way to meet my needs and your needs. You know what I mean? I don't even care to figure out what that might look like. Danielle says, I like this lady and her solutions. We need to be creative about our solutions. Correct. I'm more concerned about the world they're coming into than the type of mother I'll be. Absolutely. Now that's what I'm saying. Considering what's going on right now, I was telling my daughter's teacher, because he was saying how like him and his girlfriend, they only have a cat or whatever, but he was saying something about kids. I don't remember what it was, but I was saying like, if I didn't have kids right now, I would feel so bad, because in this economy and with everything that's going on in the world, on top of the scarcity around will this nigga kill me someday? You see, I'm speaking like I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. Like, what do you do with that? And so I count myself as very fortunate to already have my kids, have already experienced motherhood, you know, and feel like I've gotten everything that I need to get out of motherhood, if there's anything to be gotten out of motherhood or whatever. But I feel for the girlies that, you know, want it or was kind of like not want it, and look where we are. What else was I doing? Oh, I did post the this I did post the what's that called? Link. I posted the link. That's what I'm talking about. If anybody wants to come up. But I'm just gonna kind of riff a little bit here because I don't think I do have another thing, but I'm gonna save that towards the end because I want to leave off with her in y'all mind because y'all need to get with her if you're on TikTok. Um, so yeah, let me take this. I'll remove this. I'm saying all that to say, like, it probably won't be too long, especially if nobody comes up. I won't be too much longer. But all in all, my hope for us as the collective of Black women is that we're able to move through this time with dignity and precision. Um, with a vision, with vision for what we want for ourselves, and no limits, you know, no limitations in terms of, oh well, we can't do this because we don't have that, you know. I feel like right now, at this point in time in history and technology and society and things like that, it is bleak. It's very bleak, right? But there's also so much more opportunity here than there ever has been in the world for us to be able to come up with creative solutions. I was a part of a collective that had they been a bit more what's the word? I don't want to say flexible, but a bit more open to listening to me in terms of what I was trying to do. Because you can scream into the void all you want, but if nobody's listening, nobody's listening. There was a point in time where I was a part of a collective of women who were looking and trying to do to seek and implement these types of solutions. It was a group of women who, like me, were like, okay, this is worse than people are seem to be acknowledging, and we need to be putting certain things in place. But I think the problem where we kind of diverged at was like they wanted more of a they wanted they had a very 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 specific vision in terms of how they wanted to do it. For me, the way I felt about it, I felt like they were trying to take my gifts of being able to kind of like get people influence people to want to get involved and want to join and want to come and be in the space. They wanted to kind of like take my gifts a la carte without actually listening to my expertise on how it is to get people to that point, and what's important to the people themselves in terms of why they buy in and stuff like that. So we weren't able to, you know, continue on together. But I always believed in, and I still believe in, you know, that vision of coming together. And I was talking about this, you know, weeks ago. Hey, Moonlit Garden. Um, of coming together with intention and understanding of where we are, what the issues are, what the problems are, and what we want to see moving forward. and really being radical, willing to be radical about who can come and who can't come. You know, like who can come and who can't come. Because it's, like I said before, it's dire. This isn't a game. And I mean, there's still going to be a lot of, I think there's still going to be a lot of people talking in circles. There's still going to be a lot of debate. And there's still going to be a lot of people, you know, positioning themselves to benefit off of discourse without movement, discourse without strategy, you know, discourse without change. And it's going to be up to us as individuals and as sisters that care about each other, um to just be intentional and be willing to draw those lines. Hey, Amethyst, to be willing to draw those lines, those hard lines. You know what I mean? And it don't have to be. It don't have to be no knockdown, drag out. It don't have to be cursing people out. You know, it don't have to be insults or bad blood per se. It just needs to be a recognition that like my life is more important. My life, my well being, the my quality of life. Because I'm done with surviving. I'm done with survival. You know, I spent my 20s in survival and some of my 30s in survival mode. That's done for the rest for the rest of my life. That's done. I'm not doing that, right? Or I'm not living in that. You're gonna have to do it from time to time. Things will happen. But I think it's really about being able to and willing to fight. And I don't mean fight in the traditional sense of, oh, well, I'm going to stay in these situations and I'm going to keep going back and forth with this person with no real resolution in sight. It's more so about fight by removing yourself from the fight. You know what I mean? Removing yourself from having to barter, bicker, browbeat, beg for, okay, Amethyst, for recognition and of your humanity, of your need for safety. God damn, you know what I mean? Like, I will not be negotiating with anyone ever again around what I need to be safe. You know, and I feel like I can express it, and then again I can show you better than I can tell you. If I tell you and you don't get it, I can show you better than I can tell you. And I feel like that needs to be the thing. It's not about who's best at oh, Michaela. It's not about who's the best at arguing these niggas down and dragging these niggas and embarrassing them and this and that and the other. Is, you know, cuss them out if need be and then block. Cuss them out and block. You know what I mean? Like we have to start training our palates for more nourishing fare and not just something to kill time and fill space. Hey, Michaela.
Hey, sister, what's good?
I haven't seen you in forever. How are you?
I'm good. I have not seen you. If hold on, let me turn this. Oh, girl, hold on. Oh, I gotta turn this camera around. My God, hold on. Don't mind me. That's my tablet, y'all. Child, because I was just on TikTok.
Girl.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
girl. It's been a minute.
I know I like your hair.
Oh, girl, thank you. I've been locked for a minute though.
No, that's I'm like it's long. I didn't even know it was like that.
Ooh,
Ooh,
child, see
period.
inches.
Period. What's going on, girl?
Child, we talking about Megan and Clay? Cause that's what I saw when I initially came in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking about Megan Clay, but I was also just talking about, you know, with all the murders last week and everything and how heavy
Uh,
it has
mm,
been And I'm just like, I know I'm about to take a break.
With the senator and those that
The
man in
senator,
Louisiana.
yep, and he killed all them babies. And then the day I found out
Hmm.
about this lady, this older lady, her son killed her and tried to stuff her in the pipes.
Uh, oh, girl, I didn't hear about that one, but
I
my
just heard about
God.
that today.
Listen, like once again, Blackistan is Blackistaning. Okay. Um, girl, yeah, like Blackistan is Blackistaning.
It
It's
is.
been Blackistaning. Um, and I think the title of your live stream is really the point. What is the next step for Black women? Um, and I think that is a conversation that has been happening for and needs to continue to happen because I think for the most part I feel like Black women um as still have hope that this like that the dynamics of these men will change and the things like in their mentality,
Yeah.
but I'm like but they're not going to change though. So I think that Black women really need to take that into consideration when dealing with these men. I'm like, by the way, shout out to Mama Love
Hmm.
Austin over there. Black women, I'm like, I've recently found out I'm like are the fastest growing number of of gun owners, and I think that is a really good step, a really
Absolutely.
good step.
Thank you for
And
bringing
I'm like,
that
and I shouted
up.
out, I shouted out love because she's been trying to get Black women on that,
Yeah.
like
And when
Ben.
I did, we did Project You,
Yeah, I
last
remember.
year, or we did the pride, but that was the mainstay was like, all right, get yourself protected and then build a strategy and then, soothe yourself
Hmm.
and get your body back into your body. But that's very important. Like we it's more so I'm trying to orient people in understanding the need for it because we try to jump into get there, but a lot of people still don't believe we are where we are.
And we are. I'm like, and listen, we're in a dire situation,
Yeah.
right? This actually goes beyond dating, but dating is a part of the conversation because Black women, for the most part, date Black men, and I think that I'm like, even to Black women's detriment, as we have seen for the past few weeks, like it like. I'm like, I think that I'm like that is a good step though, that Black women are taking um gun ownership even more seriously, and it's more important now than ever. And I think that what we see with Clay Thompson, and even the men's reactions to Clay cheating on Meg,
Mhm.
right? I'm like, and those stories that we just mentioned I'm like they all tie together because at the end of the day, what it comes down to is men's lack of regard, respect, um, their internalized anti-blackness, and how that shows up in relation to Black women.
Yeah, they
I think
wouldn't
that this all ties together.
they wouldn't even center that lady, Dr. Fairfax, in her own death.
She wouldn't, but I'm like, but they're trying to weaponize that all over. So I've been seeing that Ashley girl, that beautiful dark skinned woman who got unalived by her white fiance, and I think it's disingenuous that they're trying to do that because again, as you just point out, Black men are not do not give a damn about Black femicide. In fact, in many spaces that I have been in on social media, they have actually denied that it even exists
Yeah. Yeah.
if that is even a problem.
We talked about that earlier, and I highlighted like two specific instances where I can recall. That was the first, and I'll be honest, those were the first time that I actually heard men like do that outright. Gotta
Hmm.
be real about that. But they straight up was like, oh, it's such a small percentage of people that it doesn't matter. And I actually had to point out and connect the dots to why these instances have been so impactful as well, because this was a different profile of woman. A lot of times they just attribute, as people do most things, racially and class wise, they attribute most of the ills of what happens in the Black
To
community,
proximity.
not even to proximity, to, oh, those are just hood rats choosing the wrong men. These are high profile, highly educated, highly pedigreed, service minded women, married,
Hmm.
respectable in every single way, and this
Absolutely.
happened to them too. and it's happening. It wasn't just like, oh, this one thing, one off. It's like bam, 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 bam. You know what I mean?
But let's, I'm like, but let's even unpack this. Even let's say, even if it was a black girl from the hood, why do we feel that black girls from the hood are disposable?
Because they were feeling like, oh, it. I'm talking about how to unpack that myth of women are just choosing wrong, and the
Oh no,
idea,
I get. I know. I understand what
yeah,
you're saying.
hmm
I was bringing up the fact that because I'm like because that is. I was bringing it up in response to to men's conversation, not necessarily to what you were saying, because you are
yeah,
bringing up valid points. Right, but I do think that is the point. That's another point of the conversation is why, and we all know why. It's a rhetorical question. Why do men feel that women that come from lower socioeconomic statuses, oftentimes the hood or the projects, are just undeserving of love or protection or care, right? I'm like because we all know why it's misogynoir,
misogyny,
internalized anti-blackness,
anti-black.
all of those things. The and what you just showed. And I'm like it translated that I'm like that this translates social economic status because black women from affluent backgrounds, black women from um and higher socioeconomic status, but very well educated women are still dealing with the same problems that, quite frankly, black women from lower socioeconomic statuses are facing. And so, what you are showing is that anti-blackness and misogynoir is so vicious, so visceral that even when black women have surpassed right the um where they come from sometimes. I'm like, black women are still dealing with the same issues
When they
regarding
come,
racism and anti-blackness.
and I'll even paint out the pipeline of the disregard of black women. It starts with, oh well, this is a low class black woman doing low class things. Then it moves up to,
Mm.
oh well, this woman may be educated but she's still choosing low class men, so she deserves it. These women transcended that because these women were married to men on their level, supposedly on their level, may not have been doing the greatest at the time when all this stuff happened, but these were men that met the criteria of good black men. And so then instead of them being able to denigrate these women, they just erased them to try to push, oh well, look how great they were, and oh, woe is them, they were having such a hard time. You know what I mean? But it's never
Yeah,
just, damn, these men are fucked up.
and like the response is never to hold the men accountable. Now it's erasure.
Mhm.
And this erasure, I'm like, it's so funny because to the point of erasure, right? I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, another black woman, a homegirl of mine, literally just the other day, and what came to my mind was even black female historical figures, right? When we talk about them in history, even their full humanity is erased. We only limit them to what they did. For example, we know that Harriet Tubman went to go free the slaves on the Underground Railroad. We know these things about her. But who was she as a person? How did she feel when she went to go find her husband had betrayed her and turned her into massa? What was her? I'm like, how was she feeling when she had dogs put on her, trying to escape slavery? What was she must have been feeling when she had to pull that legendary gun out, right? To to unalive, to shoot someone that could very well put the liberation and the black people who were trying to escape slavery, right? On what was she feeling when she had to put that black person down? We don't even get to what was her feelings, what was her fear. We don't even get to see black women that are historical figures as full autonomous human beings with feelings and emotions and very real lived human experiences.
Absolutely, 100%. And to take it even further, like when you were talking about Harriet Tubman's, I'm thinking about Frederick Douglass's wife.
Oh, clock it. We
Get
talked about that
her,
too, girl.
how he did her. He came back, he got educated, he got, prestige or whatever. And then he
And
decided,
wouldn't even teach her
girl,
how to
these
read.
white women are in. These white women are in. Like, in your own home, girl. Like, the
Yes.
historical precedent of treachery. I would say these niggas is like,
The historical, like, listen, it goes deep. It goes deep. But even when we talk about Frederick Douglass, where I first of all I had to learn that as an adult what he did to his wife,
yeah,
right? I had to learn that as an adult, and that is telling because we leave out the negative stuff that they did and who they were. But even then, Frederick Douglass, when I was growing up in school and was going to, elementary school and stuff, and learning about Frederick Douglass, I'm like, we got to see more range in history books, right?
yeah.
But we got to see that he was a former slave, but he was educated. He was an entrepreneur. We got to see more of a range
Mm-hmm.
of his life. And and it came to like I was talking about with Harriet Tubman, when we talk about Sojourner Truth, when we talk about Rosa, when we talk about these powerful, incredible women that are really matriarchs in Black history, in Black American history, as Black American women, we don't get to see the full range of their humanity. We rarely get to explore them as women.
And you absolutely cannot talk about their pain. You can't talk about like, God only
Mm.
know where are the books from the women from the Black Panther Party.
Oh my God. Mm-mm-mm.
Like, it his, and that's why I don't know, you were here. I don't think you were here when I was going through, like, the people that were talking, the women that were talking about this. One woman was saying, like, hey, why is it that when Black women speak about their pain, they're always being shut down? Now, the first clip I showed was of a woman saying, she just said, this is sad, this is making me sad, and a bunch of niggas jumped down her throat. And she's clearly someone who's like, I'm about the community, the men and the women, and Black men, I'm here for you, this and that and the other. But she wasn't allowed in her own space to say, hey, the stuff that's going on, it's making me sad. And then the next person I showed was saying, Black women, say what you need to say. Like, say what you need to say. Don't let it kill you, because that's why we have so many autoimmune diseases. That's why I'm
Hmm.
coming from a background of cosmetology. Behind the chair, I've seen so many women going bald. And it
Girl, I'm like, we talk about alopecia all the time, and sometimes it's just that these women are stressed. They're coming from, and their immune system is constantly like under attack from the stress levels, the cortisol, all of those things that stress does. Really, and it is crazy. Not only what Black women have to deal with in our community, right? But also navigating oppression, navigating patriarchy, navigating white supremacy, navigating racism, and really what that does to the Black woman's body and what that experience is. Right, like that's and that was my point in bringing up like the historical figures is we don't allow Black women to show their pain, to show their full experiences, right? And that was also funny enough. That was also my critique of Sinners when I was watching
mm,
Sinners. Like is that like the dark skinned Black woman in the story, right? I'm like he come like smoke or
baby,
stack. I
you
forget
lost
which
your baby. You've been walking past that baby little makeshift grave all 7 of these years.
years, right?
All 7 of these fucking years. Fuck him in that little pouch.
Okay, and then what really killed me was first of all the erasure of the Black American woman experience was because first of all it was a Black British woman playing her
Mhm.
and playing like, even if it's as a fictional character, it's based on real lived experiences of Black women in the antebellum South during Jim Crow.
And you want to
Right.
know what's crazy?
Well, post antebellum, but you understand my point, right?
I
Post
do.
antebellum,
And
right?
when
And I'm like, and then
I heard her talking, I heard my great grandmother. My great grandmother was from South Carolina, and the way she was
mhm.
talking, and she like at the end of her words, a do. That was
It
how
sounds like my great. It sounds like how my grandmother would describe my great grandmother talking.
That
Hmm.
was how my cousin. She would call me. They called me Uno because I was the first great grandchild, and she Uno, like that dialect. I was like, wow, I hear my people. Like,
Yes,
they're my
like,
people.
but it's crazy because one of the things that I pointed out, and I was talking to my homegirl about this. Like I said, we talked about all of the things, like black women talk, right? And one of the things that I pointed out is when Stack came home, he didn't kiss her on the lips, right? He didn't ask her how she was, what she needed. He came in, turned her around. The love making scene was was very unpersonal, right? With her, turned her around. I'm like, just pull her skirt up, and I'm like, and had sex with her, and then on top of that, right, came there to take from her, to get labor from her, right. So we don't even get to see in that story the full range of the pain of losing her child. But we see, and I'm like, but we see in that she's protecting him. He has that little necklace around him, like the hoodoo, right? That protects him,
So
right?
I will
She
say,
is protecting him spiritually as well as emotionally and all of these things, and he is not doing that for her.
I will say that I appreciated about it that when everything was said and done, they deferred to her when she's like, "Look, this is what's going on. This is what we need to do. This and that and the other." I did appreciate that they
Yes,
were actually listening to her, but no, it was very wild, incredibly
it
wild.
was very. It's wild.
Y'all
Let
coming
me
home,
get clear. I love the
everything's
movie
cool,
Sinners.
and everything's cool, and now we all back to normal, like nothing happened. That was very wild to me. But I
Oh
did
yes,
that
girl.
they gave her due and her respect in terms of she's boss lady. She knows what's going on. We listening to her. Like,
Oh yes, but and let me be clear. I was not saying that I disliked the movie Sinners. I do
yeah,
want to make that clear. Like I actually enjoyed the movie, but there were things in the movie that I'm like, hmm.
we got to start somewhere, and I feel like that's a good jumping off point to keep build. Hopefully, keep building on centering Black people's stories, and then being able to fine tune because even white media has had to is barely
Right.
evolved and has to evolve still, but has evolved from. So with us just starting to be able to start telling our own stories and not centering white people and white saviors and white anything, or letting them be the villains that they've been in our lives.
And
Because
really, that's what Sinners was. If we're
yeah,
gonna be
that's right.
real,
They're
the
the villain.
vampires was symbolic.
Unquestionably, they are the villain. So
I'm
that was that.
and it's funny because the one thing I do is I do call white people vampires. Like, really think about it. They can't go out in the sun for too long.
Girl,
They constantly exploit and extract, like literally sucking the blood out of you, like literally, like metaphorically, so to speak. Like, I think the vampire reference was like very on point.
No, it was beautifully illustrated. The whole concept of like what they were trying to extract and why they were trying to extract it and what it is that we hold as Black people, African descended people, people of
Hmm.
culture. So yeah, 100.
Ethnic. I'm like ethnic black people. Like, all the things.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, I'm like, I've been trying to, y'all, by the way, I don't want y'all to think I'm like ignoring your comments, by the way. I'm trying to keep up with everything. But shout out to the ladies in the comments. Y'all know,
Oh yeah.
let me go on my tablet real quick because I can look at the comments just on
Yes,
my
I love my girls
tablet.
here. I love, our little enclave. And I was saying to people, like, and also, I have my
I want
Discord.
y'all to think I'm.
Huh?
Oh no, that was you actually. I'm just going
Okay,
to my tablet to look at the comments, girl.
got you, got you. And I was saying, I've been, trying to consolidate and make sure that we have spaces because, we had a few visitors earlier and more frequently recently as the subject matters and thumbnails have been attracting people that wish to impart psychological harm on Black women. So, you know, I let people know we got the Discord popping if people want to be in a little bit safer of a space to
Oh, you
have.
got a Discord, girl.
had a Discord for years. It's just that I just kind of just dealt with everybody else's Discord. Like I would just go in every
Yes.
that's where everybody was. I'm still that was always the thing. Like I'm still building this my personal community, but I've been a part of so many other communities that I've just been able to kind of overlap and be in different spaces. But I'm being intentional about building out my personal space for my personal message. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I do want to admit, I did see just saw the ladies. I'm like the woman's comment when she said that they're trying to center men's mental health around Meg getting cheated on. Like that is crazy. I just saw that comment.
That's the part.
Wild behavior.
Those are the things that are like so much insulting because even last week I was going off about how they were talking about Justin Fairfax's mental health and completely ignoring his son, who is still here and a male, and was left to have to literally pick up the like to see his mother brutally murdered, to have to call to have to facilitate all of those things. And being that he clearly was raised in a traditional, Jack and Jill type household, he was raised in patriarchy. And so I know for a fact that he's probably taking on to himself the full brunt of I have to take care of my sister. Like there's so many things that I know that they are aware of, but they do not care. The priority is to make sure that Justin Fairfax's identity and image is still being upheld and exalted.
Even after he unalived his wife, like it is actually crazy. Literally, I'm like, listen, I'm like what I just saw from Rolling Martin on that, I will never fuck with him again. Let me tell y'all something. I will. Him literally saying right that I'm like be talking about I'm like the man that unalived his wife, right? The mental health for him, and that being like the center of the conversation, and not the fact that children have lost their mother and have lost their father due to that child being I'm like degenerate, malignant male is disgusting.
And that's what I'm saying. Even if let's say they want to focus on men because it's a male center space, okay, the boy is male, is he not? Like there's so
Exactly.
literally so many other people involved in this that deserve that kind of focus that aren't him.
and, and but that's the point that like and it's so funny because when I was on another social media app, the same homegirl I was just telling you about, I was having the previous conversation with her about one of the things that she got ate up for when we were on another social media, as she said that we need to define blackness outside of black men, and that was her exact point, is that black men take up so much space and take so much time and in the black community that I'm like that no one else gets centered, not even the male children, right? The elders, right? The women, the children, etc. The multiple different intersections of blackness rarely get to get centered or seen or um or acknowledged because so much space is taken up from, really, if we're going to be real about it, the most privileged part of our community that
Girl,
do not have to deal with the
I
brunt of
said
all the issues.
I said pretty much that. I was talking about like how black women would do good to kind of consciously make the effort to separate from black men because of that they take up so much and utilize that bandwidth to try to really focus on fixing the solutions of the problems we're having in the community. Girl, when I tell you the dust descended on this fucking channel like I've never seen, I had
Girl,
to shut the
not the
comment.
Dusties came to the
I
channel,
had
honey.
I had to filter comments. I actually went in like the next show and was reading comments, and I was like, "Oh my god, there's more comments." That's when I realized like I had to shut the comments off from people that weren't part of the channel because it was getting crazy. It was getting crazy.
I'm like, so the red pill, manosphere, malignant Blackistan Dusties were all up in the comments.
It,
Is basically what you're
yeah,
saying.
they weren't able to. It didn't take its full manifestation because I cut it off pretty early. Like I did that when we were at about like 600 views, which was unheard of for my any of my videos at that time. And I was just like, within like the first 24 hours, I was just like, oh no, because I always say like I want to grow, but I don't want to grow like that. I don't want to put that on myself and everybody else here to have to mitigate what comes with that kind of attention, of triggering people. And so I had to set it down, honey. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. I'm like, by the way, Danielle elevates
Hmm.
1111 says the comments that the podcast bros never mentioned Fairfax children, completely ignored the mother of Dr. Fairfax, never mentioned Nasty Mayor Brown either. Just went straight into the mental health. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. That is exactly the point, sis. That's exactly the point.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I can't take I let me give you a scenario here, right? Let's say I was of the mindset of like, oh, I don't want to upset people, and I just want us to come together, and I just want the best for everyone, and blah 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 blah. I would have to ignore the fact that I realize that they are talking about men's mental health, but the one live male in the situation is not being centered, is not being, rallied
Because he's
behind.
not a man yet. And that
Wait a
and,
minute, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there because I also thought about how when he becomes a man, if he were to do something horrific, then they would go ahead and say, oh, well, it was his father's fault to absolve him. You get what I'm so it's like there's that, but I would have to put that to the side and go, oh well, yeah, we do need to worry about the men and this and that and the other and blah 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 blah, and more and more putting things to the side, giving benefit of the doubt, giving grace. Even now, I'm just feeling like just drained, and we're doing all of that. What actually gets done? Nothing, because all the time is being spent around, are the men feeling okay? Are the men feeling good? Are they feeling like they're being yelled at? Are they feeling like they're being dragged? Are they feeling like we don't see them a particular kind of? I don't have time for that.
none. But girl, like, you want to know what's funny? The only thing that that I go back and forth is on what you said is, would they blame the father or would they blame the mother, saying that she should have chose better
I know,
when he
because
gets.
remember, think about when Chris Brown, and they blame the father, but they don't drag the father, but they will cite what the father did. So, for instance, when Chris Brown was getting in trouble for beating on women and stuff like that, especially specifically with Rihanna, I remember him. He did his interview and he was like, "Oh well, I saw my dad beat my." You get what I'm saying? Like that's when that comes up. That's when it's like,
Hmm.
"Oh well, now we're going to cite that because this man right here needs to
To
absolve."
absorb. Oh, okay. You do have a. Okay,
He
now I
needs to
understand
absolve
what
himself.
you're
So now
saying.
we can bring this into the conversation because it's relevant to absolving this man of accountability of what he's doing right now.
Got it. Okay, I agree. Yeah, I was not thinking about that point of it, but yeah, that makes perfect sense. Actually, it's sickening that that makes perfect sense. To be honest, it's disgusting, but it does make perfect sense because that's child. My
And nigga,
God.
this is not me trying to project that on that baby. I do not want that for that baby.
Oh no, no, we're not. We don't want nothing for the baby. We want the best for the baby because the baby's the baby.
But I'm just
The chip.
saying, realistically, mark my words. Praying he don't. Praying he don't. But mark my words, if he were,
Now I'm like, he gonna end up being the next thing you know, he gonna act like Clifton Powell talking about he don't know, he don't know, he didn't know what he was doing, and he like the whole I don't know how to love thing because
that
my I'm like my daddy didn't know how to love my mama. Do you
no,
see
but then
like
you see how he defaulted to, oh, but these women don't know how to love and they whores and strumpets. And it was just like,
uh,
and then he got mad because they was like, whoa, oh, up. Don't forget her. Girl, don't you know, I be clipping. I be clipping.
girl, I'm like the nails, the
I be
mug,
clipping
the
these, and
hair.
my nails was longer a few weeks ago. I cut them down for my baby birthday so I could do her hair, but my nails was longer, for a while. And I
Let me tell you something about my sis level up, honey. Her nails is always to the T. I need to get my nails done so badly. Nails done, hair done, face is always whether you're done up or not. You just have a pretty face. Like
thank
I'm
you
like
so much.
just a pretty woman.
Oh, I appreciate. Listen, I didn't always feel that when I was younger. I did, but growing up for me has been appreciating. what I got going on and taking care of myself and
I feel
everything.
like you're gorgeous. Like I feel like you're, especially your facial structure. Like I love everything about it. Like your cheekbones, your
Michaela,
lips.
please.
I be, oh my god, I'm being dead ass. I'm not even just trying to like, hey, girl, like you are really pretty to me.
Oh, thank
I,
you so much.
I even said, I always said that to Mama Love. Like I'm like Level Up is so pretty. Like I would always say that to her.
Oh my goodness. How are they doing?
Girl, I haven't talked to her in a minute. I tried to call her the other day, but I think it's because I got a new number too. By the way, I got a new iPhone 17, y'all. Loving it.
Oh, good. You
Okay.
like it good. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope they don't sit there and try to thank you, y'all, in the comments. Thank you for your compliments. But I hope that because I worked for Apple for a while and I know their game. So I hope your phone works for you for many years to come.
I hope so too. Listen, I'm like I had an iPhone like years ago, but it was the 10. It would break constantly, and I didn't like that. But I love the iPhone though. So I'm glad that I'm like, if now it's years later and I got the brand new 17 because me and my sister done switched to Verizon.
Okay, yeah, get your phone from them then. Daniela says girls grow up in these same environments and don't usually end up like these males. I wonder what excuse the ex-wives would give if we point this out. They always
I'm like, I pointed out several occasions and they tried to deflect from that
it
point
comes
when
up
I
all the
bring it
time.
up.
It comes up all the time. No, what they do is they'll be like, "Oh, it's because of the single mothers." And now, mind you, I
But the girls are raised by single mothers too,
the girls
though.
are raised, and I also point out that it's the ideology, it's the belief system that these boys have that they're not supposed to have to listen to a woman. That builds resentment. So it doesn't matter how good the mother is if they're feeling like she shouldn't be sovereign over me. When they're my sovereign
Hmm.
over me, she shouldn't have control over me. It doesn't matter how good of a mother you are. And I know of one man that was in my age range. I grew up in the same neighborhood with him, his mother, his sister. Sister is accountant. Mother was always about education. She was a early childhood educator. She was always very strict in terms of her standards of them doing good in school and this and that and the other. He went to all Catholic school. He had everything he needed to have, all the newest clothes and everything. This nigga still went to fucking jail. He went out of his way to get into the hood shit. And then I know somebody in my family younger than me told me, we had a conversation. He was basically saying, talking about his foray into hood shit out in the fucking suburbs, mind you. And he said, "Yeah, my mom did everything she was supposed to do. She was a good mom, but I'm a male. I need to run and do nigga shit."
By the way, I'm like for those of y'all in the comments, that I'm like that picture with Solange in the photo. That's me right there. That's my profile. Ugh. I love Solange. She's so pretty to me.
She's amazing. She's amazing. And I love her work that she's doing now, like with curation of art and literature and things like that. Ooh, just
I love both the Knowles sisters, to
hmm
be honest.
yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, everybody know I
But
love me some Beyonce.
oh, I love me some big. Listen, Beyonce is Queen Bee for a reason. Okay,
Love me
Queen.
some Beyonce. I mean, there are some things that can't be avoided
Yeah,
in terms of
yeah.
if that man is her husband, she has to co-sign on some certain things. But
Yeah, I'm a guess, child. I'm like, and that's a whole other conversation, honey, that we could critique.
but
But yeah, I'm hoping that eventually, I think once her children are grown, that she might leave Jay Z. I think that's if she's gonna leave Jay Z. I think that's when she'll do. I think it's when the children are grown.
I mean, I could see that would be the only because right now she's living in that fantasy of me and my the love of my life came together and made this family. So yeah, if ever it will happen, it probably will be well after the
I'm
children.
like, but to be honest, I don't even think I'm like, I don't think she is in love with as much as love with him as she previously was. To be honest, either.
I
I
don't know.
think
I was listening to Cowboy. The thing is, and this is what I keep trying to strive and tell women. And this is, I was talking to one of my friends earlier today, and I was talking about how sad I am that I, being the person that I am, and the way that I love, and the way that I am in friendships, and how I like to commune with people generally. it just, I felt this deep sadness given the state of things that I don't get to express that part of myself because I am just don't feel safe, and how unfair that is. And so when it comes to Beyonce, I feel like she is someone who wants to express herself so fully and freely that he is just the vessel on which she is expressing that part of herself, and it is so beautiful and deep, and you know what I mean. And so that's what I'm saying, like I do feel like her love of him, it is rooted in some birdiness, not gonna lie, but it's
It is.
also due to her desire. She's not stifling her desire. And I can admit to myself that I am stifling my own desire to express love in that way. But I'm doing so because I recognize the danger in it at this point in time.
Yeah. I'm like, I think that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense to do because I was saying to a friend of mine, I rarely get to date because I'm so aware of like everything going on. Oh yeah, come on from Miss Mama Tina's anointed womb, honey, because
Hmm.
it sure is. I'm like, she created two powerhouses, not
Hmm.
one but two.
And I love the
Okay.
way it's so pivotal. I don't even think it's just so much that, oh, she had those kids. When you hear about her story and from her book and everything, and how
Oh yeah, the
intentional she
matriarch.
was about stewarding them through the process of Beyonce becoming Beyonce and creating a space for Solange to become the Solange. But like, it's in that,
Yeah.
not just about, oh,
I'm
I
like,
just
and she was very intentional. I remember hearing a story about Mama Tina, bringing the girls to therapy so that so Solange could really understand like the fact that when Beyonce was first becoming famous, like so their relationship wasn't fractured.
being that present with her children, and that engaged in motherhood to say, hey, outside of what seems to be going well in the world at large, my babies need grounding.
And that and really, if we're gonna be real, that is black motherhood to a T.
Mhm.
But listen, Mama Tina was a true black mother in every way, from the love to the care to the guidance to the
To
nurturing
the
to
doing
the
of the hair and
discipline
the clothes and every, like, just
yes, to the every single way.
everything
Uh,
they needed, she had it.
and to even to the process of Beyonce and Solange becoming mothers, a true matriarch,
Mm,
so to speak. She
mm,
was she was she was based on what I have seen and the way she even talks about her children and
mm.
grandchildren today. She's everything
Yeah,
that a child deserves in a mother. Even
100%.
even Beyonce to this day, she is really close with her mother. She's always given reverence to her
Yeah.
mother.
And so for me, that's what's most important to me, is knowing that my children know that they have that in me. That has always been my drive in how I've mothered, even when I wasn't necessarily, even when my vision was a little bit off, my navigation system was a little bit off. The engine was always, my kids are going to know that I am here, and they're also going to know that there is a them shaped space for them in my life and in my heart, no matter what.
And I'm like, and that's the way exactly how we should be. I think it's important for children to know and understand that their mothers are there for them. And I especially think it's important for black children to have that, especially, navigating this world
Mhm.
and what the world will be like for black children,
And
especially. It's very
specifically
important.
specifically the girls.
Oh yes,
Had
honey,
so
especially the
much.
girls.
We've had so many instances. I don't know why do your name sound familiar. I don't know, but we're going to forget it immediately. Um, so many instances of girls and women being left out in the cold, or being, beset upon to be workhorses, whereas the boys are just like coddled and
Enabled,
exalted.
the whole the concept of black mothers loving their sons and raising their daughter. And the funny thing, we're talking about Mama Tina. Mama Tina has said that she experienced that with her mother and brother as well.
Mhm, mhm.
And I think that like and I think the concept of like being a girl mom, like I'm like a girl mom versus like a boy mom. Like I think like that relationship between black mothers and black daughters is so important.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, 100.
because truly that sets the tone for everything. I'm like a mother and daughter relationships and how really her mother sees her interact with other women also sets the foundation of her relationship with herself growing into a woman and really like the relationship that she has with other women. You know how she views sisterhood and female friendships and um everything. I think having a mother who loves women, who centers women, who I'm like has healthy female friendships, sisterhood. Those things are really important.
Incredibly important. Incredible. And they are essential. The value is immeasurable. I definitely am so happy. Like I've been talking a lot with my oldest daughter this week, and just every time, anytime we're in more constant communication, we don't lose communication because we don't love each other, but like she lives out of the state now and she works and
Hmm.
everything. But when we get to talk and commune, and it's just where she's at now in terms of where we both came from when she was younger, when it was just us two, and like I was struggling. We were having conversations about things we were going through and like her perspective of what she was seeing from her end, and then what I was experiencing on my end, and we were just laughing, girl. You know what I mean? Like, and the
Yes.
irony of it, like there's a part in my book where I was talking about my vision for me and her father, and it was like, oh yeah, we're going to be old and gray, and we're going to sit back and we're just going to laugh at where we came from. But actually, I'm doing that with her, and that's really,
Isn't that beautiful? But isn't that so beautiful though that you get to experience that with your daughter?
yeah, no, I love it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so grateful that at this point in time, I already have my kids and that they're the ages they are and everything right now. Because I don't know what I would be doing if I didn't have kids and I call myself wanting kids at this point in my life right now, or if I had smaller babies right now. Like
Hmm.
I, I don't know. And then my little baby, she just turned 12, but she's just a ball of sunshine. And now I have my daughter, because my daughter will be 22 this year, and she was talking to me about she's joint partnered with me in, oh my god, I just want to protect her. You know what I'm like? Oh my god, I just want to
Hmm.
shield her. I just want to. So it's like I love that's so beautiful, and I wish that the community as a whole got to experience that. I wish that the women
Yes.
who feel like they were denied that kind of love and that kind of safety and care could come and experience that. You know what I mean? And that's why,
I'm
like,
like I've always said that my relationship with other black women has been in my female friendships in my life have been truly I feel like have been in a lot of ways the most intimate relationships I've had out
yeah,
of my outside of my romantic ones. I would even say like the romantic relationship I've had with my ex, the relationships I have with other black women are far more intimate and far more fulfilling in a lot of ways
yeah,
than the relationships I've had with men. I think that sister, and that is really the power of sisterhood, communion, community. It's so important.
it is. And like, to bring it back to the overarching um subject of tonight's live, just being able to orient ourselves, like I said, in what is actually going on right now and how we're really feeling about it, without trying to filter it, without trying to hide it, without trying to, you know, walk on eggshells and not upset the others. I
Hmm.
think this is the opportunity that we have to build those types of things, because we shouldn't have those same barriers of comparison and hierarchy and vying for proximity and attention or whatever to males in this.
Mhm.
It's just I was thinking this morning about how I grew up in a matriarchy, and I'm talking about when I think about all of the family and extended family. So the house I lived in and then the extended family, and how save maybe one house, and it still wasn't, it still felt safe and at home, and it wasn't a bad experience, but save maybe one house out of about five. This was a matriarchy. This was a child centered family. Everything kind of revolved around the children and how safe I was, how safe I felt, how I was treated, how I was protected, how I was shown, taken and given culture, taken to museums and things like that. And it wasn't to the point where, with me being from where I'm from, being from South Philly and always going different places and people being like, "You're from where?" You know what I mean? And me not understanding, because I'm just like, yeah, I'm from South Philly. My family's from South Philly, like whatever. But growing up is being able to look back and be like, oh, that's why I was perceived as set apart, and then not trying to be on some, but even experiencing, sometimes people say, oh, you think you're better. And I have no idea what they're talking about, but it's because I, I have a different, I'm just different, like I'm just different.
Mhm. And it's not that that you felt that you were better. You just came from a
No,
different,
I'm just,
and I'm like
this is
the home environment.
this is just me, and but recognizing as I've gotten older and I've grown more into my gifts, my intuitive gifts, recognizing that that was just kind of a wistful, they say hurting people hurt people, then recognizing what it looks like to have been safe in that way, and maybe they weren't safe in the ways I was safe, and maybe they didn't have the space to use that extra bandwidth to get into art, to think deeply about
Right.
these other things. They were literally having to survive and try to protect themselves, whether it was psychically, physically, or whatever. And me not having had that struggle in particular, we were still poor. We were still poor. But I didn't have those struggles. And so that shows up different, in how you carry and what you're looking at and what you're thinking about when you walk into a room, and in what you're thinking is possible in the world, all of those things. And even now, bringing it back to the conversation, that's what makes it so hard when you already think things are bleak. That's fine, but as someone who's always kind of had more of, I'll say this much. I There are multiple facets to my personality, right? Here, I lead with my optimism. I lead with my forward thinking. I lead with my positivity and all of that stuff. But I also have another aspect of my personality that I'm very much in tune with. It's very melancholic. Um, I would say even
Hmm.
gothic to a point, because of I just because I had safety and prosperity in some ways doesn't mean that I haven't experienced loss, or I haven't experienced loneliness, or I haven't experienced rejection, in my own way. And so there is that part of me that is the part of me that I utilize when I need to break ties with people, when I need to just be really radically practical about what is actually happening, and my safety and what I need to do to preserve my safety, and just be like, okay, I'm done. So I can go from being that warm person that you just think is just the most bubbly thing ever to, okay, we're done here. You know what I mean? So there are other aspects of me, but again, I credit that early environment where those aspects of my personality were able to form, even if it was through bad experiences and trauma. It's still I still had a way to let them form, as opposed to being thrown into the fray and having to, like, cultivate them in chaos, if that makes sense.
That
Like,
make perfect sense.
yeah.
I think it makes perfect sense. And let's be clear. And let's be clear. What I feel like what you are, and what you just talked about, is you being a multifaceted woman and a multifaceted human
Mhm.
with really the human experience,
Yeah.
experiencing loss, experiencing, um rejection spirit. You are like you are truly the embodiment of what it is to be a human and, and share the human experience. And really, the share. I'm like, and what you do on here is share with other women. And
Yeah,
I'm like, and I'm like, and I've always told you how much I appreciate you and the work that you do on here.
like, and and I always appreciate you and everybody here, because I be needing to hear, because like I said, I see what is amplified online, and I see what catches and you know what goes off and goes boom online, and I'm just like, sometimes it is disheartening. What I'm just like,
Yeah.
nobody care. But at the same time, like, because I've been thrown into this deeply emotional state, I've been in a deeply meditative state also this past couple weeks or so. And I did have like a thought of that is this platform is the articulation of, to what you were saying, how to channel and create and hold space for that
Yes.
humanity in this specific experience of being a black woman and or a single
Yes.
mother. Those things of saying, hey, no, you are not, it's not chaos around you. This is actually something that happens to a lot of people, and there is a way to navigate it, and this is how I've done it. But I tell y'all, like, when I was 19 years old in the dark crying with my little baby sleeping next to me, something told me that this was what I was going to be doing. I didn't know it was going to look like this specifically, but it said, like, you're going to figure it out and you're going to help people. And that has guided me throughout my entire life to this point right now. And to sit back and just go, wow, I actually did it. So that
Hmm.
I'm grateful every day.
And like, and listen, I'm glad that you were able to get through. I'm so happy to see you thriving and all the things. It always makes me happy to see Black women thriving. And and like I said, I always give you flowers. You're
I appreciate it. And
so beautiful, inside and out.
oh, thank you so much. Like, no, that really fed my spirit today, because I was crying early. I was crying early because of everything that's going on, and I was saying, like, I think I'm gonna have to take a little bit of a break. Not for, like, I have stuff that I haven't been editing. I have footage and stuff that I could edit, so I'm still gonna
I'm
post,
sure.
but I might take a break from doing lives for a while so that I can have a bit
To
more
take
of
your
a
mental
filter.
health break. It's
Yeah,
really important.
so that I can have a bit
Um,
more of a filter. And with my camera, they gonna send me because my webcam had broke, and that was what I was using to, like, pre-record. So
oh my
my camera's being sent. So I'll go back to, I already had some pre-recorded videos that I had, like, outlined or whatever. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of a shift to just doing pre-recorded videos for a while, and get my mind back together, and get my strength back, and whatever. But yeah. But thank you so much, Michaela,
Of
for
course.
four. Like, four.
Listen, like, but I'm like, but that's what take, but this work, like doing, I'm like, the things that we do, the things that a lot of us do for Black women, like, whether it's content creation online, whether we're doing activism in the real world, where we're doing, regardless of how we do what we do for Black women, it can be exhausting mentally and emotionally. Truly, it can be taxing. Like, constantly seeing Black women being harmed and degraded and all of those things is it's not a great thing emotionally, mentally.
Not at all. And especially with me literally, like, trying to toe the line of, like, this is how you deal with it. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This is too much, right? Like, this is too much, right? But I'm not gonna abandon y'all. I'm gonna still be here, but I don't
I'm sure all of your followers. I'm sure. I'm like that. Could correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm sure all of them will be here when you get back.
Oh yeah, I know, and a lot of them, they already have their ties with me. And that's why I keep saying that. you know, the discord is there because I'll still be there. I still want to talk to people, but it's just like feeling the pressure to, you know, I try to be the filter too. Like I'll bring y'all stuff, but I,
Mhm.
I try to filter it first in order to make sure that we're not just y'all not just walking off heavy and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is a lot of stuff to metabolize. And I I'm also been feeling like because I was going to talk about Emma Greed today. I was going to talk about Emma Greed, and I don't know who you know if y'all know who that is, but
It sounds familiar.
Emma Greed is the lady that was just doing a run. Hey Les, Emma Greed was just doing
Hey.
the run of she's selling a book, but she was talking about, oh yeah, y'all need to go back to the office basically, and she's only a parent for 3 hours, and it was just different things, and I felt like that was an interesting conversation to have, and I also was wanting to like kind of come down from last week talking about Dr. Fairfax and everything, but
Oh
then
yeah, that's taxing.
yeah, but then all this stuff was happening with Megan. I was like, damn it, I gotta talk. Like, I gotta talk because, like, what the fuck? Like,
We was rooting for you. We was all rooting for you, Clay.
it wasn't even that. It was just more so like,
The,
look at
the, the relationship. I was
exactly
rooting for
what
the
they were doing to her.
relationship.
I mean, no, I was rooting for her happiness. I was happy for her. Like, I really wasn't monitoring it too much. I didn't like that song. I felt like that song was forced, but I loved it for her that she felt compelled to make it out of how she was feeling about him. So that was fine. But like when I just saw how everybody's just attacking her on top of everything else, I just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
And the image that these dusty males made and have been spreading that I
Yeah,
refuse to share.
image,
Like,
the disgusting comments, and just basically saying like, "Of course this happened to her. This is what's supposed to happen to her." It's just like, what the fuck? Like, fuck you. I just honestly, I really feel like I'm so glad that I don't have a hammer like Thor, because I would just go around, bam, bam, bam on people. Like, I am so. Why would you laugh?
No,
Why?
I'm laughing because I mean, and by the way, Michaela, you are such a sweet person. I just want to say thank you for giving my girls so many flowers. Like that was very refreshing for my spirit to hear you say. And then
oh, thank you.
yeah. Um but I'm so glad I've been off the internet because them boys will give you a brain aneurysm. I'm so glad I have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to the stuff these dudes are saying because, like, I know that this is probably going to be the foulest thing I say today, but like, y'all out here, these men are out here playing in their own faces, not realizing that they fixing to send y'all to war. Like, homie, do you what prize do you get out of your patriarchy? You are about to be shipped off to go and fight these rich men's war. Like, y'all, like they are laughing all the way to the bank with your freedom. Like, you know what I mean? Your safety. It's just, like, just the way that these people can land with egg on their face and still act like it's a victory lap is insane to me. It's so insane. Like, I'm just
Look at
completely
this
like,
shit. This is look at this shit. This is really crazy. It's saying oops, something went wrong. Try reloading the page. So I just tried to block big banks. I don't know if it went through on my end, but mods, would you please?
I don't even know what homie said because, like, Meg the Stallion, she's a Cancer. I think,
Oh,
right?
I'm a Cancer too. I did not
Well,
realize Meg and I were sister signs.
let me just double check. Meg the Stallion. I think she's a Cancer, and
Is
that's
she a
like what she
July
was.
Cancer?
Oh, I lied. Ooh, my bad. She is a February 15th, so that makes her an Aquarius, right?
I
Or
love Aquarius women.
I
Love
do
Aquarius
too.
women.
I do too. Well, I guess maybe I miss Meg Sign and Moon Sign. She just gives lover girl to me in a way that makes me feel
Yes.
really. Yeah, she had nothing to do with Cancer at all, so I made that up on some. I don't have no idea. Megan
I
the
am a
Aquarius.
Cancer. You got me all high because I'm a
Oh,
Cancer.
well, I mean, and the reason why I said that just to finish the thought because she's not a Cancer, but like I know that many Cancerian women are incredibly nurturing and loving, and in a way of like creating a home, in a way of like very service oriented in the way that they love, you know. And so it when I saw her doing the Thanksgiving and the kind of like the stuff we do together, it just made me feel for some reason that she's a Cancer. It's oh well, I looked up her chart. So her moon sign is in, so it's sun is in Aquarius, ascendant's in Taurus. Maybe that's where I got that from. Moon is in Leo, and then yeah. So, but I was
I
wrong.
think you got it
Like,
from the Taurus.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think I got it from the Taurus. But either way, it's just one of those of, regardless, I know that she is going to be such an impact on this world, in that I love how unapologetic and honest she is. She is so brave, and I love her vulnerability and her willingness to stand on business. And just to juxtapose Meg the Stallion and her vulnerability and her honesty and sincerity versus a Nicki Minaj who is, in my mind, so like not in, so in her ego, really, you know what I mean. I just, I really, really, really commend Meg the Stallion. And I think that that's what makes these guys so triggered, because she's not gonna feel like there's egg on her face or feel humbled in any way by this experience. And they're trying so hard to make her feel, in my opinion, they're trying really hard to make her feel like she needs to um, calm down and stop feeling like she's special or something. That's a lot to put in their mouth, but they're really trying to humble this lady psychologically so that she doesn't walk with her head held high. And I am just so proud of her that she's taken not only to be willing to be like, yeah, this happened and I'm mad, but I don't feel like it's my fault at all, but also to remain like, I don't know, consistent in her image, and remain consistent in what I can tell is her self-image. Like, I think she's such a great example. As horrible as these experiences have been for her, I'm genuinely like so consistently impressed by this lady and how she handles this type of stuff.
And it's so unfair. Like when I saw her on that stage crying, you know, and like trying to stop, like I just like I keep thinking about that hammer man. Like I'm just so angry. I'm so angry. I'm so angry for her. And I identify with being in that space of like, I just wanna love and be loved and have fun. Like that's literally all I want to do. And I don't
That's all we
understand
want to do.
why people are it puts a target on your back. You know what I mean? Like that fucking beige motherfucker. For what reason? And then to sit there, you did all that, like
Oh
you
my god.
you came and inserted yourself into this girl's sphere. For what? For what? To then and
Mm.
I'm pissed. I'm really mad.
No, for sure. And the thing about it is that I think it is such a chicken shit move to start talking about that you want to be poly. Like, it's such a chicken shit move. I don't know. Like, he just like you, like, it just gives fuckboy on the most, like, it just gives dumbass on the most foundational level. You know what I mean? Like everything that he everything that her brand being in combination with his brand, and what she said about, and what she kind of like made him out to be, it wasn't and I'm not trying to say that she anything against her in saying this, but the fact that he let that like Dr. Umar, Nick Cannon level BS come out of his mouth just completely eliminated any street cred he ever could have gotten in terms of being a guy who is worth a lick. Yep, that's what I mean. Like for real, like it's not that you can't be poly and be somebody that's respectable to me. It's your business, do what you want. But nobody on this earth, based off of who this woman has presented herself to be, thought that would have looked at their relationship or entered into a relationship with her assuming that she would have wanted a poly relationship unless she had said that at the onset of the relationship. You know what I mean?
I'm about to rant. I'm about to fucking rant because
oh, I'm sorry.
No. It's not you. Because you just triggered. And I was thinking about this earlier. What pisses me the fuck off about that beige bastard is that you knew and you saw, like, even if you go into it and you're like, okay, I'm dating this person and I'm kind of like open about, I don't know where this is going to go as an individual. I'm talking about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you caught on that, oh, I'm being portrayed in a certain way, and I'm talking about, oh, I'm the good guy in it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being portrayed as the good guy. I'm being portrayed as the nerd that is solid and, you know, committed and all of these things. This bitch was reveling in it. You get what I'm saying? He never was like, wait, don't do that. He never, you know, was like, let's tone that down. I wouldn't do that if I were you. He was just like, yeah, oh yeah. And that's my problem. And that's why I say, like, you got to watch out for these niggas, because it's like they want the benefit of being seen as the good guy, but they don't want to have to actually show the fuck up and do the work.
Of course not.
And so
but
for
like,
me,
I mean, Mikhail, I'm sorry. Did you want to jump in? Because I feel like I'm going to go on another rant too, but I want to give you.
Oh no. I think y'all were saying everything that needs to be said, quite frankly. Yeah, I'm like, child, I'm like every day I get on, I'm like on the internet, right? To the point I made to reference Harriet Tubman from earlier, makes me even understand more and more why Harriet Tubman had that gun. Truthfully, had that
I
pew
mean,
pew. Okay.
from the bottom of my heart, like it's so disgusting. I had to have this conversation with one of these people's mama. Like, look, I don't want to be unkind, but ultimately, like, these people be playing in your face, and it's like you knew what you were doing the whole time. You thought that maybe, I don't, in my mind, the most rational interpretation, like if I'm gonna sit there and think about what could he have been thinking, right? He might have thought that he would get away with it because she would have wanted to save face. That is me not thinking he's a dumbass. If he's a dumbass, right? Which you're a dumbass either way, but you're a cruel dumbass in column A, right? In column B, like you are a without any kind, like you are a reactive dumbass. Like you just kind of look for any hole to fall in. You are just trying to see what you can get out here in this world. And to me, that is one of the most, that is equally dangerous to the cruel dumbass, the people who are just kind of like, you know, chaotic. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just chaotic for chaotic sake. You know what I mean? Just kind of see what they can get, kind of like ravenous, like Ray J level, like pointless, just out here just trying to see what they can do. Like Ray J I saw this something, I don't know. I think I was watching Jessie Wu. I like her. I think she had at the very end of it something about Ray J talking about he's been with 1,000 women. You ain't got nothing else to do today, homie. Just the most idle people. I cannot imagine how much time they waste. Anyways, and when I think about like his dumb face, he's so not cute. And Jessie Wu mentioned that he's not probably not her type, and I can see that. And it's just one of those. It's like you can't even give the ugly ones a chance, you know. And you got to remember that. Don't tell yourself that the ugly ones are going to do anything better, because the ugly ones are raised in the same chaos. Yep.
That man, the one that knocked on my door today, it took him 10 years to really get me to take him seriously. Like a literal decade. And then he still played. And
Embarrassing.
now he keep coming knocking on my door every couple weeks. You get like they're fucking insane.
Like, I don't know what it is about. I don't know. The word loser just is at the tip of my tongue. And why I think that's that. Because they come at life trying to avoid losing. So everything is FOMO. So everything that they think they can get, they have to try. So if a girl offers something to them, they feel compelled to, they feel like they have to take it because of the constant FOMO that is, oh, you know, that versus the idea of a winner in that they have a goal in mind and are kind of filtering out what they do and their decisions based off of its alignment to their goals. And it's just so consistent that these losers are just out here like you should. I saw something, DJ Academics' dumb self, he's so stupid, like he's so stupid. And it's just like when you think of the level of loser that sits around all day reveling in that muck, when you ain't about nothing in this world and everybody's waiting for you to fall. Like all of your friends are waiting to say nah nah boo boo to your face. You ain't got not one person who will show up to you if you at a hospital, if you hospitalized for anything. Let's just be honest. Nobody is gonna be. I remember this one experience I had where my father was sick for a really long time, and there was another guy in the hospital with him in one of his stays. No one showed up for this man the entire time. He was constantly on the phone, making it look like he's making all these deals and all of the above. Like he was constantly on the phone, you know, trying to have these important conversations in his head. But the fact that no one showed up for him, but he, in his mindset, believed that he was moving and shaking, goes to, I think it's a profound example of the outcomes. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. It say right back on the back of my book. Hold on. You see it backwards, but it says the legacy you live is the legacy you. Can I switch it? It doesn't even matter. I would have to do too much. Anyway, it says the legacy you live is the legacy you leave. And that's really the crux of it, like how you live your life. You can't go around and taking for granted and being a fucking dick and just doing all of this stuff and then expect when you're not this virile, you know, man about town, whatever, that people are going to come and say, oh, let me take care of you now. Where the fuck were you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then like yeah, like to be lumped in with Nick Cannon and Umar and DJ Academics is an incredibly steep fall, but he's with the dumbasses now.
That's what I'm
And
saying. And I haven't even seen any of they bullshit ass bitch assness, and I don't want to. That's the thing. Like
oh,
I,
absolutely
if I
not.
get to that, I'm mad that I even saw the image because like at first I hadn't seen the image. I had just heard about it. Somebody was talking about it and saying like, please don't use it, even if you call yourself trying to bring attention to how awful it is. Please don't use it. And then sure enough, later on the day, somebody over on TikTok had it up as their background for their live.
What image? What are we talking about now?
It's a disgustingly foul image. It's an image that has history in red pill spaces. Usually, it's just one woman, and a bunch of men are lined up behind her, and the
Are you
mess.
talking about the image that from Meg they
Yeah,
made about Meg the Stallion
yeah, but
with
it
Clay
wasn't
Thompson
always
as the
about Meg the
background?
Stallion. It's a class. I won't say a classic, but it's been a red pill image for many years now. Where they're saying, you know how they say, she's not yours, it's just your turn, and it's
Yeah.
illustration of that sentiment. And so now they've done one with Meg's likeness, and they have all these names above the heads of the guys that are in the line.
So disgusting.
Oh, and then the one at the very end is you, and it's like, oh, but this is the good guy at the end or whatever. And
Yeah,
can you imagine being that embarrassing? Yo, when I say pathetic, like, I don't know what's wrong with my mind, but nothing about that feels like a flex. I am so embarrassed for these MFers. Like, you are out here thinking about Meg the Stallion's, like,
they're always thinking
like,
about other niggas' dicks. That's what you have to recognize. It's
oh,
not about her vagina. It's about their pee. They're always worried about another man's penis.
it is that is so accurate. When homie, you about to go fight a war for some asshole, nigga? What? Like, no, for real. Sorry, that should not be my vernacular. But still, like, sir, you have pressing issues to concern yourself with. What are you? What type of? You know what I mean? Like, it's just so insane that these guys will egg on their own downfall because guess what? Is y'all not having no more the maidens? Nope.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you, and that's why I said like to bring it all to wrangle it all in and to start trying to like close out. I am I don't want to say grateful. Grateful is not the word, right? But if we must go through this, I feel like the takeaway here is that everybody should be able now to be able to come together. I'm talking about the women should be able to come together now and recognize that like, oh, this isn't just a matter of taste. This isn't just a matter of like, oh, you just need to find the will to love again, or you just need to get over your hurt or whatever. Like, no, these niggas are fucking treacherous out here. It's not the game you think it is. It's not the board. Is not the layout you think it is. These niggas are crazy and off. And when you're dealing with, you are having a completely different experience, a completely different, you know, but I say your logic is subjective to your object. Your objectives are completely on a different track in a different area. Like, you know what I mean? And that disorientation of recognizing just how completely not in alignment you are. I feel like that's the space we're in right now. And be mindful of that as we're moving forward and moving through these spaces in relationship. And we kind of need to be, like I said, separating the wheat from the chaff of, okay, who's on board with what's actually going, like who is accepting what is being presented to us at face value, who still want to be in the Lululand, who, and not to judge nobody and not to try to, create those schisms, but to just kind of go, okay, you just aren't ready. Okay. And come together with those who got their mind, they show on TikTok that lady just who's already there, and we can kind of go from there.
There was something that was profound that was said to me. It said, um, sometimes you got to meet them there instead of trying to find them.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes you got to meet them
where they
there.
got you fucked up at. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, you see, normally before I would be sitting around like, oh, no, fuck you, like fuck you, bitch, block. That's where we're going to go. I want you to leave knowing, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
enough is enough. The day has come. I'm manifesting my hammer. I'm
I
fucking
don't
done.
know why that hammer just makes me giggle. And it's
I
not
can
because
feel
I
it in
don't
my hand.
you're so silly. No one's going to jail. I think that, especially not over these assholes. Like, seriously, because here's the thing. Like, um, I might be speaking out of turn because I don't follow sports ball. I'm not really a sports person. So if I misspeak, oh well, just know I don't care. But there's this guy, Allen Iverson. A lot of them, they will ruin their life, do the absolute most, go through a complete train wreck, and then you see them homeless on the street, and it's like, yep, that's it. That's the whole story. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Amethyst. You're gonna help me manifest my hammer. I've
And
been
and not to hate on the unhoused. That's not what I meant. But it's just one of those of like, when you, like, the slippery slope into Psychoville, where you just damage, to your point, damage all your relationships, you waste all your time, wasting your time, so that by the time you're like, you have gotten older and you need to kind of reap the dividends of all of your work, you've already spent it on idleness. You know what I mean? There's something really tragic there around how many years these people put into their sports ball, into their, like, their acting career, their music career, or whatever, and then they end, and like, these people literally will, like, do absolutely everything, get rich or die trying, and once they're rich, they don't know how to act. They never really cultivated those skills, and so once they're there and they've arrived, they inevitably have it taken back away. So it's like, why are we investing so much in these people? Because they often never give it back to the community, and usually it's the community that gets them there anyway, to be honest. So, but that's a different conversation for a different time. But still,
Well,
like,
I just want y'all to know I have put my email up there too for anyone that's interested in coming into the Discord. Email me, and then I'll figure out a way to try to like make sure I know who you are, so you can come in, so we can, not be amongst other friends. On the greater interwebs. I mean, even though I'm still going to try to figure out somewhere outside of Discord too, because all of these places is getting a little sketchy. But for right now, Discord can be the meeting place to kind of rally and figure out, and just, come together because again, very, very tired. Somebody says something. Oh yes, I still Amethyst. Thank you for putting that in the thing. I saw. I had no idea he was homeless. That's actually crazy. But honestly, the last time I saw him like in public, he looked homeless adjacent, and I mean like not homeless adjacent, but he didn't look like he didn't have the carriage he had in his heyday, if that makes sense. Like he
of course not.
reminded me of just any other regular Philly nigga. Is what I'm saying in terms of like it just that tracks is what I'm saying. Yes, Chica, we're going to vetting and make sure that like yes. Michaela, did you have any final thought as we wrap up here?
Oh yes. I'm like, so my thoughts are, black women say sovereign, protected, uplifted, all the things that Mama Love says. As our host here. I'm like I'm like level up is going to be taking her little hiatus from doing lives. I'm like to take care of herself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the things. I feel like all of us should keep. I'm gonna keep the host in our thoughts and wish her well. And I in particular send lots of love your way, level up. And I wish you well, and I hope that you'll get back to us soon. Definitely DM me how you doing, how you feeling. Lots of love from my way to you.
100. Are we friends on? Are we friends on Discord? Because I know we was in the thing.
No, girl, but I'm also constantly getting locked out of my Discord.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm like. I know we
Girl,
have.
but you have me as a friend on TikTok.
I do. I do. I know. And you have two pages because you got KK.
I have 3 page. I will to be honest. I have more than that, honey. Because one thing I'm gonna have is a backup to my backup, honey. Because TikTok like to play in my face. Like today, I was trying to share the story about Sarah Bartman because I was on a live where a Dusty Diligent Male was talking about Black women's weight, and I'm like, and we were talking about the idea that Black women are overweight and obese, and the idea that Black women are quote unquote masculine and under all of that ties to slavery. And he was trying to deny that, so I brought the story of like Sarah Bartman and those things. And and the article I was sharing to kind of bring up the point that fat phobia and anti-blackness tied together had the picture of Sarah Bartman's body, and TikTok flagged me off the live. So now I have to be on my other account to go into join
I don't
live.
go live on TikTok because TikTok be on some real strong bullshit, and it be pissing me the fuck off. So I don't do lives on TikTok because they always flagging me for one thing or another. But then as I'm scrolling, I see the most ridiculous bullshit happening on everybody else's live. So fuck them. Yeah. And
I
in
mean,
terms of like the weight loss thing, like mind you, sidebar, I've lost about 22 pounds in
cute.
the last 2 months on purpose. And because I really,
Congrats! I'm working on my weight loss journey
I
myself.
told y'all last year, like I was really going to put my effort into purposefully releasing weight for me. But that's the type of shit that made me want to go get fat all over again. You know, like put the weight right back on because fuck y'all. I don't give a fuck what you like.
And I think that that's the part. So when we think about it in a sociology standpoint, you are so profoundly correct, Michaela, that it's definitely rooted in anti-blackness, but it's also rooted in misogyny. Because when we think about when even
Pocket.
other communities are preferring women who are thinner, usually it is first of all, in other communities, a lot of times it's tied to pedophilia, but also a lot of times it's the idea that a woman would be strong or working hard or whatever, like being able to take care of herself, right? A lot of times the more and more capable you are, the healthier you are, is the more you pose a threat to these guys. So even if they're attracted to, like on a physical level, a woman that looks one way or another, the fact that a woman is willing to diet and commit to the lifestyle that is required for her to stay thin is a symbol of her, how seriously she takes the male gaze. And so, because most women, I watched this video this morning about Natalie Portman commenting on the ballet world in Black Swan. And she said that a lot of times those ballerinas were courtesans, so the guys would be playing with them, whatever. And the idea would be that you wanted to stay as thin as humanly possible in order to mimic youth, but also when you think about during these times where uh, guys are times of war, times of just right wing takeovers. I'll use that word so that we don't get flagged for anything. It's usually the thinner women that are preferred because they are inherently more submissive, because you have to submit to a certain lifestyle. You have to, you get what I'm saying, in order to achieve that. It is, for most women, it is not natural to look thin. For most women, it is not natural to maintain a weight that the same weight the course of their entire lives. You know what I mean? It takes so much commitment, and a guy who's looking for a woman that's going to be down for the chaos needs to find a woman is already primed to prioritize that. So
Yeah, everything you said as well.
yeah.
Girl, I told y'all, I was telling y'all before, like for years, chaotic truth. It's not that men aren't allowed on the panel, but I've seen you before. And let me introduce you to me. My name's Kiana. They call me Vitamin Key. I'm not into debating. I'm not into showing. I'm not trying to go viral, nothing like that. I'm doing something very specific here. And I don't got time for bullshit. So respectful. So it's not that I don't allow men on the panel, but I've seen like how you get down, and I'm not interested. We don't do that here. So yeah.
What
Yeah,
man
like
is
when
that
I'm
man in the comments?
Yeah,
yeah, idiot.
but I'm familiar with this person, and that no, thank you. What was I going to say? Yeah, I've told y'all before. Like I have had struggles with the idea of losing weight because of that. Because I understood that acutely, and I'm just like, I want y'all to know I don't give a fuck what y'all think about. So I would have stayed big. You know what I mean? Like and just revel in it. But now I'm just like, okay, I'm at this age now. I want to there's certain things that I want to experience for me. And so I'm no longer going to allow that to keep me from doing what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's not about
100.
that. It's what I want to do. I want to experience this thing, and anybody that gets me fucked up at per usual, I'm going to address them where they got me fucked up at, and then I'm going to leave them where they got me fucked up at, and that's going to be that. So
Amen. Amen. I approve this message.
And I second approve this message.
Yeah. My
Period.
body, I'm gonna do what I want. Amen.
well, I want to thank you, ladies, for coming up and talking to me and making this rounding out this conversation, this subject, and because I don't like just being up here and pontificating. I do like having conversation and dialogue, and it actually helps to expand on what we're talking about when people come up and talk to me. So I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for your love and the flowers you gave me. And like I'm gonna be smiling all night. I'm gonna carry it with me.
Of
Oh,
course.
this for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, let me tell you something. Can I
Mhm.
sidebar? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well wait a minute.
Let me stop.
Let me do the outro and then we come back and we can just talk about whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll smooth with a
Okay. Ladies.
I mean, to be clear to the men who come and go. The point of this exercise is not to hear both sides. I think that that is an important stated purpose. I don't want to hear your side. I don't care. And I need you to understand that I don't want you to balance it out. I don't want to know what you think. I don't want to know what your values are. I When I want to hear from you, I will send from you. But for now, how about you listen? That's what I have for the class.
I don't even want to listen either. Like, but it's just like I know who you are specifically, sir, and no bueno, no thank you. I don't want.
Who I'm like, who is the dude that you talking about? Because all I see in the comments are women.
No, now I'm saying before where the guy came and
Oh
talked
yeah,
about the
was
guy
it? I'm like,
before they was trying
listen.
to come up. I'm like, I know exactly who you are. I know exactly what you're here to do. This ain't that type of party.
Yeah,
And that's why I say what I
the fact,
say.
because the thing is, they always come into women's spaces to disrupt the space.
Right.
Always.
And the thing is, I won't knock the hustle because clearly I feel like this one was getting into the algorithm, and so all these people that are running that racket of get up on here and whatever, they're used to people just trying to go viral for viral sake and do whatever and this and that and the other. So
Hmm.
I don't knock the hustle, but I'm gonna just let you know like this ain't that, and that's it. And it can be that simple. Like it always could have been that simple.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I wanna oh, sidebar, when I was talking about my weight, it's so funny because now I'm experiencing my pants and my panties and stuff are falling off.
Girl, get you some new
I,
panties.
I mean, I am, but I'm just saying, it was like, it literally kind of happened overnight. And it's so funny because I've dieted and stuff before and I've lost like significant amounts of weights in my life before. But I think this is the first time that I'm not trying to use like some kind of gimmick or anything. I literally just am like monitoring my calories and stuff, and the process of losing weight and me actually sitting and like feeling what's going on in my body is so interesting. So some days, and apologize if this is TMI, but some days I have to pee so much. And I was thinking, like, oh my God, am I pre diabetic? Like, what's going on? But then I was reading about it, and like, when you are losing weight, the fat cells are releasing water. So that's literally me losing weight. So I can go to the bathroom in one of those situations and then come back and see the scale go down. So it's fascinating. It's
Right.
fascinating. And then like the fact that previously like I would have been not eating enough. That was a big part of my problem. Like I was malnourished. And now I'm like, I have to eat enough and I have to get enough protein. And like keep having to take care of myself in this. It's such an interesting process.
I love that. I love that because that's not the same. That I can get behind because really it is about feeding your body and taking ownership over your body as a steward rather than as a slave to what your body needs to be for somebody else. But it's you saying to yourself, I'm getting to know me, right? I'm taking my body back, my image back, and that ownership. See, and so lately I've been doing much the same in that trying to reacquaint myself with my hunger cycles, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um and reacquaint myself with how bored I get. Oh, she left. Okay.
It might
Just
pop back
reacquaint
in. That
reacquaint
happens
myself with
sometimes. Like sometimes the thing, I don't know if it's the system or their phone or whatever. Yeah, here she come right now.
oh, okay.
You can talk.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
girl, I'm like, girl, I'm sorry. My connection was acting
No, it
weird.
happen. It happens at least once to three times. When multiple people are up here. Don't worry about it.
But yes, I'm like, I love that. I'm on my own weight loss journey because I'm like I've been dealing with like stuff related to weight. I've been struggling with weight for a long time, and I've been I also like I actually am now. Um, when I went to the doctor, they said I had type 2.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Ugh. So I'm working on like getting my weight down and stuff, but I don't have to take insulin. That's good.
Okay,
oh,
good.
that's great.
I
Yeah,
don't have to take insulin. I just take some metformin. But yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
mean,
Well, At least they caught it before it
Yeah.
got too bad.
And I mean, my cousin, I have a few family members who do have it, and like weight loss and whatever. I don't like it will significantly improve that outcome. You know, like people have been able to not be, you know, anymore. I don't know, because see, I'm all with the holistic stuff. I really am very much like somebody that um wants to go wants to challenge science and western medicine as it relates to um the idea that you can never get off of this medication, or you can never no longer be this or whatever, like the determinism that they have around our body. But I
Mhm.
also am not a doctor. So but I my there are so many people that um change their body fundamentally by just going through this exercise. Like I have been doing what I think is somatic healing lately, where
Mm.
it's been just like stretching, and it's
Mm.
been really nice. Like I will just sit there and just stretch and stretch and stretch and feel into my
Mhm.
body, and it's like the only times that I calm down during the day, where I just like literally like abort the mission of being on my computer, abort the mission of being on my phone, you know?
Mhm.
And I don't know, I haven't lost weight, but I think it's helping me with pain, you know?
I'm like,
So it's
and
like,
that's something I also am looking to get into, like doing more stretches stuff, because I'm now getting closer to 30, like really close to 30 now, and
mm-hmm.
so, um, I'm trying to like get it. It feels weird. You've been saying that I'm getting closer to 30. Um, you
I
knew
mean,
the day was coming, but you know
it
the days
is. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No, finish your thought.
you know the day's coming, but like you never expected when it's about to be so soon. Like so now that I'm getting closer to 30 and stuff like that. Trying to take like my health and stuff like extremely seriously so that I can live to be an older woman. And like and
Yeah.
thrive and stuff.
Yeah. And
That's what I'm
30s are
like.
honestly fun. I enjoy
I'm,
it.
I'm like I kept saying, like, even as I was creeping closer to 40. Child, I've been talking about becoming 40 when I was like 38 and stuff. And so it's like now that I'm 40, I was saying, because this was when we were in DC, and I did the live when we were in DC before we went to see Beyonce, and I was saying like, yeah, my plan is to start getting my body together and losing weight intentionally, and like trying to get strong and everything like that, because I'm like, I want to be fine in my 40s. I mean, I'm always fine, but you know what I mean. Like I
Oh
Yeah.
want to
girl, that
really
face.
embody. I want to be the whole package. Like I want to. Y'all gonna be sick of me, okay? Clothes are coming off. It's going to be a whole new experience, man. Like it's gonna be a
Liz, I'm like,
whole
listen, and I
new
hope you know I'm gonna hype you up too. I'm gonna hype you up the whole
What?
way.
like give it a good, maybe hopefully another little 15, 20, the last little 15, 20 years before, I want to really, really do it up.
Girl, I'm like,
I
girl,
strong. Go ahead.
listen, do
Go
it,
ahead.
do it.
Yes, I strongly support you running amok. Run amok. Amok, 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 amok.
Yeah,
Okay.
and especially because now I feel confident that first of all, no. I think before the psychic block was this fear of getting to be more visible to men. And so now that I'm clear about what men are, who they are, what I want to deal with, what I don't want to do, like these things that I didn't know, but I kind of knew that I didn't know, type of thing. Now that I have this kind of clarity around that, I feel safe to just be in my body the way I want to be in my body, and it has nothing to do with them, and I feel like I can protect myself, if that makes sense.
Perfect sense. Yeah. I mean, especially learning to trust yourself to know that you'll make sure you're safe,
Yeah.
you know? Because I think that for a lot of women, the um the male gaze is can also be the reason why you keep weight on in order to avoid their gaze too. A lot of people think it only goes one way.
Yeah.
Um, but for me this week, one of the things that came up was just realizing like I have to. Actually, ironically, I was listening to a book that a guy wrote, but it was just like you have to be willing to trust yourself enough to do the thing, and trust yourself to know that you will figure it out when it comes up and that you'll be able to handle the situation. So if a guy comes out of pocket or is just not making you feel safe, that you'll be able to handle that moment. I don't know if that resonates for anybody, but the idea being
No,
like
100%.
it won't get out of control because you are there to protect you, you know?
No, 100%. I think for me, the subconscious sphere was, like I said, kind of sensing that there was more I needed to learn about men and how they thought. Because I was having it, I was out there, I was having experiences or whatever, but I just always kind of felt like I was not understanding. And then, like I said, that led me to seeking knowledge purely to understand and improve, because they had me thinking that something was wrong with me. Not necessarily on some like, oh, I'm just a fuck up type of thing, but more so like, oh, I'm a mother and I need to get serious about growing up type of stuff. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to learn to be a woman that can actually date and stuff like that? And then when I started seeing, I'm like, oh, these niggas are out of their mind. You know what I mean? So it's like now that I have that understanding and I'm in a space where I know for certain that I want what I want and I don't want what I don't want. Now I feel safe because before, if I would have just been dealing with guys, but I didn't really know guys, I probably would have been entertaining a whole lot of people that would have took me through a whole lot more than what I actually went through. You get what I'm saying? So I think my intuition, my subconscious was protecting me from, because like I said, even in 22 pounds heavier, I still got people, I've still had people
We know that.
trying to get at me, but it's like, I'm like, okay, if I already have people getting at me in this body, I know what's going to come when I get, so it's kind of like, I don't even worry about it.
I think I want to double click there real quick. I want to double click there. We got to stop implying that there's something that is unattractive about being overweight. Not that you're saying that, but there's a subtext of like, oh, if I lose weight, then it's going to be an inordinate amount of attention. Or out of control, these men are lying. They are full of crap. Like I have never, and I don't like. I feel this kind of like aggression towards that idea just because I've been really interrogating it lately. Because it was such a noose around my confidence and my neck for so many years. Mind you, I was a girl who always had a partner. Always, right? But this constant humbling, like Meg Thee Stallion is everybody's type. She is a literal stallion, Barbie doll, that girl, right? And Halle Berry, all these incredible, fabulous women that are physically in the ideal in whatever, right? And then things could not work out. Like
How Beyonce as well.
Beyonce as
So
well.
I want to
Right?
be clear. It's not a thing of feeling like I am or was at a deficit per se. It's more so about like quantity. So it's like if the quality is already fucking bad and I'm only dealing with maybe 5, the quality's bad and I got 20 coming at me. You get what I'm saying? It's more so about like I don't want to be
I
bothered.
don't
Like,
think that the quality. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying. I apologize if that was obnoxious.
no, it's fine.
It's more so of like we gotta stop believing that the quality is gonna change. No.
No. When
They're
I say the
still pissing
quality,
upon.
when I say the quality, I'm saying the quality's bad generally, period, across the board for everybody.
Yeah.
If I only got 5 coming at me and I'm reeling from this 5, what the fuck is it going to look like if I got 20 coming at me? You get, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But I
That's
think
what I'm
that
talking
there are 20 coming at you regardless. It's just a different 20, but it's a different 20 of a pool of like, I don't know, swamp creatures. Because it's like because for example,
it goes from being, let's being crocodiles to it can change to sharks because it does I was having a conversation. I told you about the conversation I was having with the other person in it this morning, the one I sent you the voice note about. And it's not that I disagree with the idea that you do get categorized a certain way outside of yourself, that society and people and men will categorize you a certain way based on your appearance.
Yeah.
I'm well aware that. I'm saying that I personally reject that classification. I don't give a fuck how you see me or what you classify me as. I am what I am and I accept what I accept. And so when I'm talking about this idea of like, as you see, with me having my little nobodies, trying to get at me, that's one thing. But you see what Meg is going through, being what would be considered the pinnacle of aesthetic perfection. And you see how vitriol, you get what I'm saying? So it's me kind of tapping in intuitively to the understanding, even if I didn't fully know what I was feeling, it was just like I would be in more danger, were I to be attracted to that many people and people that would be that aggressive about trying to obtain me. You get what I'm saying?
I do. I really do. And I don't want you to think I'm being dismissive of your point, but I think maybe it's my own trauma and me kind of like sharing my vantage point, or like how I'm wrestling with it. But where I'm coming from is I need personally to recognize that I'm already dealing with the problem. Like the in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm giving myself a safety net of, oh, at least it's not this bad. But honestly, it's as bad as it's going to be, and I'm already handling it. Like there's nothing about life after
it won't get
that.
Worse.
And meaning like
it couldn't possibly get
no, like for example, not even that. No, not even that. Like for example, when we do a lot of the noise around chasing guys or like a lot of the noise around performing femininity. A lot of the times we think that in being more meek or in being more whatever, that we are in some way manipulating the situation to get better outcomes, but actually we get the same outcomes, so we might as well just live our lives. So it's like in that, like even when we think about like how we try to be a certain type of person in order to have better outcomes for people who are in leadership or, other people who might be white supremacists, whatever. We think that by that at least we are not this, at least we're not that, like, but in reality, we might as well do what we want, because truthfully, none of it matters. Like, we are already dealing with the crazy. You're already handling attention. You're already handling the fact that you already have a great foundation in terms of your self-image and the way that you're going to handle relations with men. Like, seeing it, say like there's nothing that they have that you're missing out of. Like, there's a illusion of being eliminated, because I mean, granted, yes, there are men who are, I'm not their type, right? But that's true for every woman on earth, right? And so it's like, and there are men who are safe and decent people. I always have to remind myself of that. But of the men who are safe and decent people, I am not going to be like more like me trying to do all of this stuff to try to like protect myself is me just wasting my energy on something that don't matter, because I'm not going to find that safe and decent person in any other way than being myself and doing whatever the hell I want. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah,
Of
it
like,
makes perfect sense, and it's not that I disagree. I don't disagree.
It makes a lot of sense to me, actually.
I think where it wasn't, it was never a thing about rejection as much as it was about I am afraid of being overwhelmed. You get
yeah,
like
and
I'm
I'm
afraid
not.
of
Yeah,
I'm
yes. I
afraid
mean,
of being
I'm not denying
overwhelmed
that there's
with
a lot of men that are going to be in your face, and I'm not denying that there's not going to be like the men who are going to be like a DJ Academics, like who are going to want you to, who are going to feel entitled to your space and want you to be on, like want you to be there to be a trinket for something or another, right?
because like even all right. So this guy, the guy that came, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like he was always one of those people when I was dating him and I talked to him and I kind of, was able to kind of pick out and decipher what his viewpoint is of me. I do feel like even way back when, I met this man when I was like 23 or something when we were working together.
Mm-hmm.
He always kind of saw me as a Meg the Stallion the in how I'm very
He was attracted to you,
he was
yeah.
attracted to me, but also some of the things he was saying, and I was a little bit too young and inexperienced about men to understand that it was a bit incelly the way he was relating to me.
Mm.
Because I remember like we met in like 2010 or so. And
Mm-hmm.
he and when I sit and I think about it, we always had this weird relationship. All this week, I was talking to Tori earlier, and I was saying all this week I kept hearing in my brain, and I know you see me watching you, that Kevin Gates song, and I'm like, what is it? And mind you, this well, I won't say.
I
Anyway,
rebuked it.
and I kept hearing that song, and then this person pops up. Mind you, the first time I remember us speaking, we both worked at the same place, and he came to me at work, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I be seeing you," because I used to go to Planet Fitness after I would drop my daughter off at school. He's like, "I be seeing you at Planet Fitness," and I was like, I didn't, like I didn't really like that, but it was because I was in a space where I'm still trying to learn and grow. I'm a young girl, I'm like 23, and I wasn't necessarily attracted to this guy. And I'm like, okay, this guy likes me, and maybe I've been choosing wrong. You get what I'm saying? So that was how he
Mm-hmm.
was able to get in initially, and it kept happening like that. Like it would happen sporadically over time. I kept thinking like, oh, it's me. I just don't like him because something's just wrong with me. I just choose the wrong men, and I kept like. And don't get me wrong, I had nice times with him. He was someone I never had to worry about him trying to go 50-50. Like he was always a gentleman and he had a lot of good qualities on paper that made me feel like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is the type of guy I need to be going for, and he's kind of different than
Mm-hmm.
the other guys that come towards me. But in retrospect, I could say I feel like because one time, many years after we first met, he mentioned something that I had said when we first met that I didn't even remember I said. And I'm like, honey, I'm a whole different person. I got a whole nother kid. Like, I grew up a bit. You want to have to get over it. You get what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so then when I really started taking him serious in 2018, I remember him kind of coming back and being like, I really like you, almost as if it was a fucking surprise. You get what I'm so it's like putting all these things together. I'm like, this person was trying to get me for his ego, is what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying? And so
Mm.
when people see you that way, maybe he saw me that way in my body that I've already had all my life, but
Mm-hmm.
change my body into a more out appealing body for the masses that would create
Mm.
more of him instead. So instead of just that one him, and he's done some shit, not as much as everybody else, because he didn't get the opportunity to, but he's tried to baby trap me. He has
Isn't
tried
that
to baby
like
trap
that's
me.
Wait,
crazy?
Nigga, I'm like, that nigga tried to do what?
Yeah, he's tried to baby
Oh,
trap me. Like there
upsetting.
was, mind you, this was years and years ago. But I'm saying, like, in retrospect, I'm like, that was the fear of like, if I that was only one of him in my span of dating that I had to do that I can remember. And then there was my oldest daughter's father. He had kind of a I'm going to humble
Yeah.
you spirit about him. So I'm saying those are just two guys in the whole span of time that I could say definitively was trying to humble me. What if it was 20? You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't think we talk about enough how men try to baby trap women. And it's funny because they
Yes.
like to say it's the other way around, but I actually believe they do. It more so happens to women, and in particular black women as well. Because I cannot tell you, I remember when I was in college, right? I had met I had met a girl when I was in college. We became very close friends. When I tell you, she ended up getting pregnant, right? Now there's also the dynamic that we were like 18, 19 years old, and the dude that she was talking to was 24. So there's that dynamic as well. Not in
Mhm.
retrospect, not knowing any better because we're literally 18, 19 years old.
Mhm.
Anyway, she ends up getting pregnant. And then a year later, we found out that he was messing with her birth control medication to purposely try to get her pregnant, to trap her, to keep her tied to him. And that was something that really did happen. I get, now, granted, she's a beautiful, amazing mother now and loves her son. But how she came to be pregnant was not up for by her own volition, but really reproductive coercion.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Exactly.
thing that saved me from him was at that point I already had one. Yeah, at that point I already had two children. And so I was
Mhm.
already on my space where I was just like, ain't no more babies coming out of here. Like I've had an implant since my daughter was months old. My baby daughter was months old.
Mhm.
And the thing is, I told him this, but even with me telling you this, you clearly weren't listening to me. And
Mhm.
even if I hadn't had that, you had a plan. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like how
Mhm.
scary that is of you just were going to decide for me that you were going to do. And even, and mind you, this is after us already having conversations where I was like, well, look, I'm having a practical grown up conversation with him because I was in my 30s, having a practical grown up conversation with him where I'm saying, look, you want a baby? I'm at a point in my life where I wouldn't necessarily mind having another baby, but these are the things I need first. We need to be married. I need a house. I need, like I'm telling him,
Mhm.
and it was like he was deciding for me that he wasn't going to give me any of that stuff, but he still wanted me to have a baby. And I'm like, you ought to be lucky that I didn't get pregnant because that's the surefire way to never see me again. I don't deal with neither one of my baby fathers. They don't have access to me. So but that's
And
like,
they be upset when you don't want to deal with it. And in the bitter baby daddy brigade, from what I've seen without children, who has homegirls that have children, is that the bitter baby daddy brigade? Because that's exactly what they are. I'm like, they treat the children how I'm like. How how the mother, how they feel about the mother oftentimes, and when the mother denies them access to them sexually, especially they decide that they don't feel like they have to take care of the children
no,
because they no longer have access to the mother.
it was very
A
crazy. And
hundred.
even this person, and he used to always try to get me to come and move in with him, like on some real quick stuff. And I'm just like, I have kids. I can't just be doing whatever. I don't even know you like that. You know what I mean? And so I'm saying, like, to be able to pick out in hindsight, to be able to pick out all these things that I've been talking about are like that you got to look out for. You know what I mean with these people, because this is someone that clearly has an issue with boundaries.
A
and
hundred.
and even though, like I said, the last time I actually engaged with him, I was able to maneuver in a way where I came out on top, and I was able to walk away and say, okay, I'm satisfied with these engagements. We don't have to do this again. you know I still, that's not something that I would want to continue to do, and it's definitely not something that I would want to have to endure or maneuver for the rest of my life.
No. I mean, and who's smoke break?
Nobody. He's gone. He was gone before you even noticed him. I blocked
Okay.
that person. I
So,
didn't even notice them.
uh, girl, she protects the space she provides. I know that that's true when I hear people talk about the fact that the guys will um always be hopping from baby mama to baby mama for housing, and or you think about the guys who will, like, Offset be like, well, you already had my baby. So the idea of the baby being a physical representation of their notch on the belt, so
And I to my point, just to and I'm saying when you are aspirationally good looking, that makes you even more of a trophy of a prize for them to say ha ha nana and a boo boo. Like my oldest father did that to me before. He was showing me off to people. I came to like a family function and he was showing me off to people like, look what I pulled, look what I did. And we weren't together, you know what I mean? But he wanted to be able to say, yeah, you see her, she fine, ain't she? Yeah, I put a baby in that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm not even denying any of it. I'm saying that you already have made decisions about how you're going to handle that now, and because you're already dealing with it right now. You know what I'm saying? So you can trust the strategies that are working for you. Like, and that's me just trying to, like, calm my own anxiety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because one of the things that comes up for me consistently is the fact that, like, I'm a I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this thing called Strengths Finder, where they talk about your 32 strengths. If you haven't taken it, please do. It's so good. And one of my strengths is input. And so I take in a lot of information. And it's sometimes difficult for me to avoid the bad news, right? And I'm like, oh man, what are we, like, it's just all bad out there. But it's like, yeah, but it's actually been like that for a while and you've been doing fine. So why not trust the strategies you already have in place? Because it's not like, for me particularly, I'll just talk about me, not saying that you're invalidating anything I'm just saying, like, for me in particular, I feel like the fact that I was always like, oh, if only I were this or if only I were that, then I would have these outcomes or whatever. And then realizing that the monikers that mean that I am that girl have already happened. Like, I've already pulled the finest dude in the room. Yep. I've already been somebody who has been told, like I'm the most beautiful girl in the room to him. You know what I mean? I've already been the girl that I've already felt like a princess. You know what I mean? In that way, I've already felt like I've been picked or whatever, you know? So this idea, I've already known the way guys look at me when I know that they're into me, you know? So this feeling like, oh, well, I haven't, like, if I were, you know, in Wicked, where the first one where she's like, but I'm not that girl. And it's like, we all end up feeling like we're not that girl, but most of the time it depends on the day and the situation. You know what I mean? But we've had experiences being that girl and we've had experiences not being that girl. And there are so much more room for that girl looking so many different ways and being so many different personalities or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to sound like a fortune cookie, but it's just like the you and I have this conversation often, vitamin where you're like, you've mentioned I need to receive the fact that I'm already like welcomed into the Black woman fold. We have to receive the fact that we're already getting the female experience, the desirable female experience. You know what I mean?
Okay, Michaela, I see your message.
She has to go. Or
Yeah,
bye.
she said her phone is heating up, so she may have to go. Um, what did I? Oh yeah, she could talk about some. Why do you want to have a baby? I just want to throw this in here for a second. Chica, I had to ask that man that same thing, and he told me, "Well, because I don't have one." I said, "That is not no reason to be having no kid." This is when we was having a conversation where he disclosed to me what he tried to do, and I was just like, "Well, that was never going to happen."
They're gonna, I mean, and that guy will always find a girl that is going to have their child for that reason. But the fact that, like, they walk around being so pathetic, you know, and think it's a flex is just so backwards. And it has nothing to do with blackness. It has nothing to do with like a specific and even gender, because there's a lot of pathetic women too. But it's just like, yeah, yeah.
But mind you, it. This is the thing, and this is where, like, I will say to Alicia's point, because I can't wait to get into that book, girl. I cannot wait. But in terms of talking about like bitterness, right? I am bitter. I am bitter about the fact that I cannot be myself. And when I say myself, you know, I always lead with speaking to the highest form of people, the highest form of people that I can perceive in them, right? And that's how I interact with everybody. That's how I want to interact with everybody. That's why I refrain from interacting with the people that I refrain from interacting with. That's why I did not let that man up, because I already knew he was going to come and bring his ass, and I was going to have to kick it, and I didn't want to do that. So for me, it's don't you keep laughing at
I'm
me.
sorry. Just, I don't know. Violence makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, just the idea. Like, I'm sorry.
So for me, with that guy specifically, the one that I've been
Yeah.
talking about, the one that came today, I see
Mhm.
so, like, even I'm noticing he gave me this card. The last time he came, he gave me his card before, and he was telling me everything he had going on. And I could see from this card that he told me about his business before, and this was like 2023. I'm seeing how his business is expanded. Do you know that I would love to sit with that man and let him teach me about business? You know, there was so many things he
Yeah.
told me about who he was and what he does with his time and this and that and the other outside of that. I'm just like, oh my God, you're so smart. But he doesn't think he's smart, and that's why it's dangerous. You can't breathe life into these niggas if they can't appreciate themselves. And I think the
That's
biggest
the thing.
problem I've had with men is that y'all see the level of appreciation that was always there. My grandma put that in me, that
Amen.
appreciation of myself and that acceptance of myself. The only time
Yeah.
it wavered was when I got pregnant and had my older daughter, because of, patriarchal bullshit. And so,
Mm-hmm.
especially now that I'm back to that, it's like it's unsafe for somebody like me, a la Meg, to be mixing and mingling with niggas that hate themselves.
But people in general, because that's the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
if
yes, but
we,
I'm
yeah,
saying, like, when we talking like, that's a whole different. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, because romance is like, you literally, you're becoming together. Like, like, and I completely agree. I think, and one of the things that the oppressors need from you is to hate yourself so much that it makes you decide to give up ownership of your identity and the definition of what your features mean, be it fat, thin, whatever, be it what your like experiences mean in terms of whether or not you do or do not deserve it. And it's just one of those of um now that, and when I say pathetic, because I feel like pathetic seems like such a judgmental and cruel thing to say, but and so I'll work on the verbiage for it, but I think that when you stop assuming that anyone's better than you, it's so freeing. It's so freeing to be comfortable with just being normal and not needing to like compare yourself all the time, or have a carrot dangling over your head, or about whether or not you are worthy or ascendant, but be comfortable with being like just a regular person out here that messes up, that is human, that's living, that's here to share notes, that's here to commune with other people, that, you know, has something to share, and that being enough. There's so, it's such a gentler approach to life, and it's, for me, one of the most important revelations I've had, because instead of saying to yourself that, oh, you know, I'm special, I am the most important, I am the most da 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 da, like, instead, what if you're normal and that's okay, and you're surrounded by other people who are here too to experience the ride, and y'all are here just to take notes together and to share, and the people who are for you, and the people who are not don't need to be there, that you have just as much right to be here as anyone else, and we're not rationing out health, safety, and provision. Granted, society keeps doing it, but there's nothing cosmic that's deciding this. It's entirely societal. You know what I mean? Like, again, not to sound like a fortune cookie, but like, nature is rarely as cruel as people are to each other. Like, nature has provided in abundance. You know what I mean? There's more than enough. It's we who decide. To Amethyst's point, it's patriarchy requires scarcity to function, because that scarcity is what is the carrot dangling over your head, you being provided for or not. And that's the threat that women being able to provide for themselves offers to the patriarchy. If you can't, and even when we think about outside of men and women, worker versus work versus business owner, minority versus majority, in every single one of those relationships, the idea of your provision or safety or validity being dependent on somebody else is the leverage they have over you, not whether or not you are enjoying the job or you're being supported. It's manipulating you and forcing you to do things against your will, because they know you wouldn't do it if you had a choice. And that lack of choice, I want us to challenge that. Like, I think most of us would absolutely work together and do wonderful things without coercion. I don't think that the society would be disjointed and chaotic if I didn't have leverage over you to force you to do things against your will. Men think that discipline and like force is required to have people be productive, but I don't think that, I strongly disagree that we need, that productivity requires coercion.
First of all, I just want us to take a moment and conceptualize the idea that there was a point in time where everybody was just existing, where everybody was just sitting around and eating what they could, eating what was available from the earth and all these other things and just existing. And then one day somebody was like, you know what this shit needs? We need a way to be able to measure who's better. We need some
Yeah.
systems in place to be able to figure out who's better. We need somebody, one person to be in charge, and we need everybody to be subordinate to that person. And we need, ways to create scarcity. And like, like that literally was how it had to go. So who raised all these fucking horrible men?
Girl, don't give it. No,
right?
no,
It's so crazy to me that they come in here and they just throw random talking points. Like, that's not even the conversation we're having.
And that's the sad thing. They don't have the capacity. Like, you are staying surface level and making yourself miserable and shallow to spite me.
Wait, hold on.
You're ruining your own life.
Let me answer real quick. Not the fuck me. I don't have no sons. So there's that. It ain't me.
And honestly, if you hate your mom this much, you should give her back everything she ever gave you. You owe your mom a debt. I know that might sound random, but if you resent her this much for raising you, you should give it back.
Yeah, send your mom over here. Send your mom over here. You can't be here, but send your mom over here. I'll get her right. She'll know how to deal with you when we finish. Send your mom over.
It's always so wonderful to talk to you and to be here with the girls and just.
Yeah, we hit Alicia. Oh no, who hit Alicia? Somebody unhide Alicia. I'm gonna have to go with it. Alicia, wait. I'm gonna unhide you. So with that, I think we're gonna have to.
Oh man!
Out of here. We're getting out of control.
Oh, slippery with the fingers.
I am crying. Okay, so final thoughts.
No, those were my final thoughts. Like, I think that it is so sad that these dudes just keep having the dumbest, boringest conversations with themselves about absolutely nothing. You should get a life. Amen. That's what I have for the class. Well, have a good day.
All right, good. Okay, Alicia's been liberated. Alicia, comment. So okay. Okay. I just want to say, first of all, I love y'all so much.
Mm-hmm.
I love y'all. I love this space. I love this little family. Wait a minute. Why y'all calling Jamal? She's Alicia, I'm so sorry. You don't get wild in here. Stand behind me. But no, seriously, I love y'all. I love that girl. I ain't gonna put that up on the thing because I feel like people been feeling the type of way lately. So I ain't even gonna put that up. But I see you. I appreciate you all. I'm so happy, so happy that we found each other, in this ball of confusion that is life right now. I wanna thank you all for all your continued support of me and listening to anything I had to fucking say in the first place. Like, that's incredible. And I just want y'all to know, like, I'm when I say I'm taking, like I said, I'm gonna take a break from the lives. I might be back sooner than later. Who knows? But y'all know where I'm at. Also want to put my email back up for anybody who's interested in being able, because I will still be in Discord, to want to come into Discord and, be able to chit and chat with me and maybe even watch some stuff with me or whatever. But this is the thing. I got to figure out how to, I'm not paying for YouTube though, but I got to figure out how to get rid of the
ads,
advertisement. Yeah, because it'd be too many ads when I'm the host. Like, I wouldn't mind hosting, but it'd be way too many ads and I'd be feeling bad. So I have to figure out like what I need to do outside of paying for YouTube. To be able.
We'll talk about it after.
Yeah. But I love you all. I appreciate you. Alicia, check your text messages. Yeah, I think that is it please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. There's plenty of stuff here. Tell a friend, not y'all niggas, but tell a friend. To come in and look through the catalog, to brush up and get their mind right, get calibrated to the frequency we on over here, so that when I do come back, we're just ready for whatever. We have our hammers in our hearts. Oh my god, I love it. Also, there was something I can't remember.
I don't support violence. I'm so sorry. I had to
thinking,
disclaimer.
I was thinking about a nickname for us. Oh yeah. How y'all feel about the Key Hive? And not because I'm trying to be like Beyonce, but it was something that was going on, and I was thinking about it, and I was just like, you know what? I think I've been working harder and not smarter. I don't know. Y'all let me know. But we need a name. We need a name. Like we need. I think it's time to implement a.
If you like the Key Hive, I'm Key Hive. If you like it, I love it. If it makes you feel,
because I don't want to force it. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be coordinated.
No, but if you like it, I love it.
Names, the best community names come organically. I wish I could remember what the context was because it made so much sense at the time. But I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there because I'm vitamin key, so it could be a Key Hive. I don't know. Y'all let me know. If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm putting it out there. I'm trying to bond us. I'm trying to bond us even further. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna let y'all go. It wasn't no punishment. Thank you for the hammers and hearts. Love that. Oh my god, I love that. I felt a little zing. Ooh, things are happening. All right. I will talk to you guys later.
Bye.